inside Thursday night. How's it going? Alright, strip back, good crack, multi-trade podcast. Share the knowledge you know, help to make our sector grow. Everybody's learning from experts and the journeyman. Insights.
Right, Season 7, Episode 7. I'm Stephen Buckley.
I'm Keith Eoghan.
And this is Inside the Stripped Back podcast, sponsored by Robust Lighting, the world's leading LED lighting company.
And also in association with Snickers Workwear Ireland and Velocity Pro Gear.
On the Overload segment, we've got Eoghan. He's an electrical apprentice. He is AKA Dublin Sparky, and he's coming on to talk to us about his apprenticeship and all things electrical.
We've got Paul Nealon joining us on the special guest interview segment, and he is from IFFTV.
Yeah, really looking forward to it.
Let's jump into it.
This podcast is coming to you from the Robust headquarters in Dublin, Ireland.
Robust are the world's leading LED lighting company.
So make sure you head over and download the My Robust app and see what they have on offer. Eoghan, aka Dublin Sparky.
The Dublin Sparky, that's the one,
AKA Eoghan.
Eoghan.
Eoghan to other people.
Yeah.
We've made it, lads. Good to be here.
Delighted to have you.
Yeah.
It's great. Myself and Keith, we actively look online to try and see who's, prominent out there posting anything trade related, and it's few and far between in the Irish market, and it's great to be able to see somebody like yourself actually post good content and actually educational content as well for anybody that's coming up.
Yeah. That's it. Like the videos are like mostly like trying to be educational, if you get me. I think it's like the whole, do you ever hear like the 10,000 hours thing where it's like 10,000 hours to be a master? You ever hear that?
Yeah.
I think like, not like, obviously I'm not a master, right? But like, I think in all the videos, there's always like a little tip. And I think if people watch the videos and you get those little tips and you add them all up, you'll get to that a lot quicker, which is kind of what I'm going for.
Even I learned a few bits off you as well. I haven't touched uni strutting I don't know how many years now, but the measurements in between the holes.
That's like, it's just great. But like it's like I'm not even thinking about it that much. I'm just kind of freestyling in the voice now, and then I just get messages all the time off people being like, I never thought of that. I never realised that.
I encourage my lads to even watch your stuff. I'm sure they are anyway, but it's great for them because we don't do a whole lot of, tray, trunking, uni strut and stuff like that. So for them to be able to see those little tips and tricks, it's great for them when they go into their phases in Sullus, and then they have a bit of a heads up on the little tips and tricks to get them. Because I might not teach them that. I'll teach them other things. Teach them the rest, but like those little things is great. So
is the 10,000 hours, is that FOSS? Is that the apprenticeship? Is that how long
I don't know. That's just something I heard a long time ago. I don't know if there's any truth.
That sounds like an Alex Hormozy thing.
I don't know. Someone smart said it one time.
It's stuck anyway.
It's stuck, yeah.
Look, it's something that we do, obviously, is just try to give any of our listeners, whatever their background is, a bit of an insight into the trade, and that's giving people a bit of a look into the person behind the trade. So whereabouts in Dublin are you from, and maybe take people back a bit, what was school like and what got you into starting an apprenticeship? Right,
so we'll start. I'm from Lucan originally. I now live out in Donamead. I went to the Irish school in Lucan, so I'm fluent in Irish. Did primary school in Irish, secondary school in Irish. Learned German in Irish, so learned another language in another language. Now my German is horrendous, but my Irish is terrible. My Irish is good. So the Kupla Fuckle, anyone out there, just letting you know.
There's no cursing on this episode.
I actually really enjoyed school. I thought it was fun, but I was for bollocks. Just always in trouble. But it was good at hurling, so the teachers would kind of let me away with a bit more. And I just stuck to the practical subjects, art and woodwork. And I think a lot of the skills I learned in woodwork, like using a square and like measuring, really transferred into the apprenticeship. So that was good. And then finished school, went to college for 3 weeks So I
3 weeks.
did
Love
the
your commitment.
seen Tinchy Strider in the SU. Shout outs to Minute. Did
Oh,
Rag
Tinchy.
Week, did all that. So I got my college life in 3 weeks. Dropped out, got a job in Centra for 5 months. Then got offered the apprenticeship. My auntie's husband, Derek Porter, he offered me the apprenticeship. He was working on a big site in town at the time.
What was the CAO choice?
Computer science, highest dropout rate in the country. And you know what? I went into the first lecture, and it was linear algebra, and he was writing out a maths equation, and it went across 4 boards, and I was like, this is not for me. Like, yeah, I was gone. I knew straight away, so dropped out. So then got into the apprenticeship, and I just loved it. Like I really loved it. It's such a mad way of learning. If you get something wrong, like, I don't know, like in a office job or something, like they give you I don't even know how to explain it. Yeah, but like on site, it's just a different way of learning. Do you know what I mean? Anyone in the trades will understand that. So finished the apprenticeship, and when we were finishing in phase 6, the lecturers were saying everyone here should be going on and doing the electrical engineering course. So me and 3 of the lads, we signed up for it, and the first year we ended up doing it. COVID hit. So then the whole thing moved online, which is actually handy for me because I finished work, and instead of having to get a bus back into town,
you can do it.
Yeah.
And do 3-hour lectures Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes four nights a week. We could just like dress from the waist up and do it online, and it stayed online for the 4 years.
I was going to say that, has it stayed online since, or has it?
No, I think it's moved back in.
Right.
But like we actually got to do some exams at home, and that was hilarious because what they did was they made the exams shorter, so you couldn't really prepare for them. But what I did was I actually wrote out every single possible answer on an A4 sheet, and I had it like all over the ground.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, that's the answer. I just went and picked up that
study in itself
sheet of paper.
must be said.
Yeah, well, like
preparation.
Do you know what I mean?
That
Yeah,
is
well, I was
preparation.
preparing to cheat, basically. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
But some people don't bother even doing
No,
that much. You know
and
what I mean?
I'll tell you something as well. So the engineering course, there was 50 people started that, and only 8 finished. And I was by far the lowest academically in that course, but the rest of the lads were older and had families and children.
Yeah,
and I just had way more time than everyone else. So I grafted. I absolutely grafted. It was 4 hard years, and I ended up finishing with a first. And if you told anyone, like when I was back in school, that I finished with a first, no way.
It's doing something that you have an interest in, you know what I mean? Because you have an end goal for it. You've already got the entry level in with the apprenticeship. You've already got the bit of the graph for it, as you say.
Oh, I love the game. You know? I do love the game. I have to say, I really love it.
And it's something that then you work, like everybody has a focus on something that they're really good at, and then they build upon that. And I think, taking it back to what you said, COVID opened up a lot of good stuff for people to be able to progress themselves within their careers, and that going online, albeit being great for yourself, just because you didn't have to travel into the actual college and actually physically be there. I think it just opens up another question now for anybody who's actually in the electrical game right now, working and actually doing hard days grafts, like getting in 7 o'clock in the morning, finishing 6 in the evening, thinking about having to get on a bus, maybe go home, get a shower.
It was hard.
You know, they can, well, I don't know, it's 3 o'clock for me.
3 o'clock,
I've had an extra 3 hours on there.
Mad for the overtime. Mad for the overtime.
I was adding 3 hours on there, you know, I mean, it's trying to get an extra bit of cash.
Yeah.
But it's just lads need that extra bit of support, and to be able to do stuff online. Now, I don't know, you probably don't know if that is still available for lads to do it online, but I think it's definitely something that should be considered for lads who are doing an active apprenticeship and thinking about bettering themselves.
Yeah. I will say, like, my mom and dad, I was living at home at the time, like, I'd be in the door and they'd be like, there's your dinner, you go and do your gym now, and then I'll have something else for you ready before your lecture. And like, they were phenomenal, so thank you to the parents. Really appreciate it.
But even at that, like yourselves, like having the parents, like if I was coming home, and or even at yourself, Keith, like having like kids young, if you're going off and you're starting an apprenticeship and you're coming out the other end of it, you come home, you have duties at home as a father, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have kids that are going off to, you know, extracurriculars, or, you know, you have stuff to be done at home, or the wife has the extracurriculars. And to be able to say, right, I can actually do something in the confines of my home and come out at the end of it with a qualification, like, is a brilliant thing to think.
Yeah.
It's something that now I'm just thinking about, like,
Don't
I'm
do
gonna-
it. Don't do it.
I'm going
Don't
to do a course.
I'm going to hold your course now.
Don't do it. It's so hard. I'll
Podcasting.
tell you another thing as well. So I remember my maths teacher in school. I'd always be like, "Why am I learning this theory of Pythagoras? Like, what? I'm never going to use this again."
What's that?
That triangle, that right angle triangle, has haunted me for years. It's followed me through the apprenticeship. Doing the sums, and then, like, if I'd known that, like, a right angle triangle could be represented, like, by reactance, impedance, and resistance, like, I would have just listened a bit more in school. But like it just goes to
Just
another
meant
level in the
it had no
engineering degree.
relevance,
I'm just like, I remember telling the teacher, I was like, I'm never going to use this again, and I'm haunted by that triangle. Follows me
Like
around.
what you said, Key, it's relevance. It's like somebody not dumbing it down for you, but it's putting it into practical terms. Like, you know yourself, and we've mentioned it before in the podcast. Like, my father used to say, you know, the river flowing is the amps, and, you know, like, the dams and the rivers is the resistors, you know, and then what comes out the other side, then, like, you know what I mean? And it's all about making it work for somebody whose brain can actually see it visually, because everybody learns differently. You know,
rather than in maths class, it was just like find X. You know?
Yeah. Well,
I was like, there's no reason why you need to find it. It's just find it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll tell you, I think what changed for me, because I could never, like, really apply myself in school.
Yeah.
Like, I think I was smart, but I just never tried. Tried. As soon as I started getting paid, as soon as there was a bit of money, I was like so hardworking. I was like, I'm getting paid. I should be trying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like a switch flicked, and I was just like a different person for $6.22 an hour.
For
$6.22 an hour.
But come here, here's a scenario, right? So you're in Centra, right? Probably making chicken fillet rolls for electricians coming in the door.
Yeah.
Was there, at that stage, even a thought of actually becoming an electrician and being the other lad on the side of the counter? Like,
not even a little bit. I just got offered the apprenticeship. I was like, I don't know if there was even, I think, so this is probably like 10 years ago now. A decade. Jesus Christ.
It's longer for us.
I know, it's probably longer for you lads.
There's
a couple of greys there.
Grey Fox, or was it?
What's the question? Sorry, where were we? You're gone there now.
I think it was chicken fillet rolls.
Oh, sorry, I never considered it. I think might even have been like, I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but I never thought about doing it, and I got offered it, and I was a bit hesitant even because I got comfortable in Centra.
Yeah.
I actually loved that job, lads.
Love chicken fillet rolls.
Just love chicken fillet rolls.
There's something to be said about it. There's something to be said about it, though, dealing with public. You know, it's their public.
And it was local in Lucan, and I knew everyone coming in. Sure, I was just chatting to, like, my mates all day.
Yeah.
But I'd never considered it, and once I started, I was like, this is for me. Like, this is what I want to do. And then it was apprenticeship, engineering, and then I think when I finished the engineering, I think I realized pretty quick that I just loved being on site and, like, in the mix, you know, chopping up with the lads. And I didn't really want to sit in, like, an office, just on the computer. Like, I can do that. Like, I can do the BIM, the Revit, all that stuff, learn how to do it. But I just didn't fancy actually sitting in an office. So I ended up buying a house with my girlfriend, Emma Louise. I love you. There you go. She's going to love that one.
Lick ours.
Yeah, it has to be done.
That's just going to be the clip for the episode.
Oh, God, don't do that to me.
Undying Love.
Yeah.
That's a good name for the episode, actually.
Undying Love. That is a great name for the episode. So we ended up buying a house together, and we rented it out and went traveling for a year. But I think it was kind of running away from the engineering, to be honest.
Yeah.
So traveled for a year or 7 months through Southeast Asia, and then we went to Sydney. I actually have an Australian passport, so handy, like dual citizenship, just straight in. They were like, "Welcome home." I was like, "I've never been here, mate." And then got back 10 weeks ago. But while I was over there, they were selling these. I don't think they were out in Ireland yet. So that's how I make the videos for anyone who doesn't know. I record on the Meta Ray-Ban glasses, top of the range stuff. So I got the idea about making the videos over in Sydney, and I took that home with me then and started making videos. I think it's like 12 or 13 weeks now. And, like, here I am on a podcast. Like, this isn't even real. Like, what?
And it does look like that you're actually on site with you, like, when you're doing
it's
videos,
like, it's a first person view, and it's like, it's really engaging. And I think, like, I don't know if you had on there last week, was talking about the first 3 seconds of the video, the hook is really important. But there's, like, a whole lot of other stuff that goes into it as well. Like, upload times is a good one as well. So, like, the best time from what I've read online to upload is like 7 to 9 p.m. local, wherever you are, because that's the time when most people are on their phones to get more engagement.
Yeah.
And the algorithm will then push it out. So there's a bit of that as well. Like it's not just posting, it's
willy-nilly.
There's a lot of other little things to make your video kind of go viral. I don't know, whatever it is, you know what I mean? But I don't know, it's going well for me.
Would you stop doing it if it didn't go, like, what you consider viral? Like, if you're looking at your TikTok and, you know, you've posted something and you're posting another one and say they're getting between 300 to 1,000 likes, and then you post one and it doesn't, is that hard to take, or is it knowing that you might have put the time and effort into it?
Do you know what? I was thinking about this the other day, and because I upload on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, sometimes the video doesn't do well for whatever reason on TikTok, and then it gets like 20,000 views on Instagram. I'm like, right, well, that's like, what even is that? It doesn't really bother me that much, to be honest. Yeah. And I get some laugh out of making the videos as well. Yeah. Like, I watch it back and I'm like,
that's gas.
Well, yeah, I'm like, that's gas. Yeah. I don't know. It is what it is.
But that's it. It's real and it's lightheartedness, and you know, and it is, because it's a first person thing. There's nothing. Obviously, you probably have to do a little bit of editing on it, like to crop it in and all that kind of stuff. But it is what it is, and that's where the glasses come in handy, I suppose.
It's so quick; it puts it straight into your phone gallery, and then you know about your CapCut Pro man yourself now, so you know how to use it. But while I was traveling, I've been making travel content under my other alias, my real name.
Yeah, found you.
You found me anyway. Yeah, you did. You tracked me down somehow. I was like, how did you find that? But while I was traveling, like, I have all the camera gear of a drone and stuff. And I bought like professional software to edit the videos. So like, I've been making content for like 5 years, and like, you can really get into the weeds of like editing and I spent like days editing these travel videos, and like, they were good, but I was like happy with like 50 or 100 views, because it's hard on YouTube. It's a saturated market, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then like, I get home from work, I chop up a video in 25 minutes and do a voiceover in 5, and it gets like 100,000 views. And I'm like, is
that something that people need to, or are not considering, is that you actually don't have to talk over your videos while you're doing it? It's just get your content.
Because you get better sound quality. Like, you can't be using an angle grinder and talking at the same time. It's just not possible.
There's a lot of people there, and you'll be watching videos, you'll be like,
you can't really hear what they're saying. I've seen some stuff like that. Yeah,
putting the time and effort into actually just getting the content during the day, using your phone whenever you can, and then like what you're saying with your glasses, you're not even having to stop. You know, I don't
even touch them. I just say, okay, Meta, start recording, or okay, Meta, what's 3,750 divided by 5, and it gives me the answer. And I'm faster wearing those glasses than I am without them. Like, speed of them. Yeah.
A good friend of the podcast, Tom Kindrigan, like, introduced us to those first, and I don't know if you've seen his content. It's like it's priceless. It's it's a bit of work, and it's a bit of eating it out of all the fine dineries in
I'd be
Dublin.
panicking. He wears them while he's driving, and he posts it. So when he's coming up to a junction, he's looking left and he's looking right, and I'm looking with him. I was like, "Jeez, look again!" He's right coming.
I think he's come across a couple of crashes as well. Like, where he has like evidence of the like dash cam from his face. Like, you know, what I mean?
No way. Yeah,
it's brilliant.
It's class. No, it's just it's something that obviously maybe myself and Keith would have spoke about it, and you would have mentioned before. So Keith would have deep dived a lot into YouTube with the likes of Jordan Artisan and Mike Page, Residual. So a lot of stuff from the UK like would have been posted online across various platforms, and that would have been the only content that anybody within the Irish trade industry could go and find.
Yeah.
So when we started doing the podcast, it was trying to bring people maybe more verbally into conversation to get a bit of relating to the trades. But obviously the market's still open, and it's still at its sort of infancy in Ireland, I think, for influencers within the trade industry to get their name out there now and actually push forward. And the likes of brands and stuff, or even wholesalers and all that, like backing lads like yourselves and actually giving them a bit of gear, like, can actually boost that, because you'll go out on site and you'll use it and
show how good it is.
Find that now that you have that backing.
Yeah, it's nice now. Like, I seem to have something coming in the door nearly every week at some stage, and that's like, that's mind blowing for me, to be honest, because I didn't think it would happen so fast and so quick. But it's going very well. It's going very well so far. I'm just delighted with it, to be honest. Like,
it fills up the spare room quite quickly, doesn't it?
It does.
The
yeah.
novelty kind of wears off.
I'm not quite there. I'm not like you lads with bits and bobs you don't have time to open with yet. Get that box open.
But come here, in terms of the apprenticeship, where did you start out? As in, what sector did you start out in yourself?
What do you mean by sector?
As in like, industrial, commercial?
It was all industrial to start. So we were on the National Art Gallery of Ireland was the first job I was on. And
fancy.
It was it was a mad job. So you weren't allowed to use angle grinders because of all the art. They didn't want any sparks in case of a fire. So we were trying to cut like trunking, 5-section filleted trunking with a hacksaw.
I know. And
I was like, this is like, but I got really good really quick.
Yeah.
Doing like some of the most complicated stuff I've done as a first year, yeah. And that job was a mad job, to be honest. So I was working for a company, I won't say the name of it, but that company went out of business.
Yeah.
And then the company he was subbing for there took us all on direct to finish the job.
Okay.
And then that company went out of business. So this was a bad job.
Yeah.
And then I went to phase 2, and then I never went back to that, whatever it was.
Yeah, me and Steve would have had the
that,
same thing. We were working in a school in Crumlin where I had like it was a protected building. It was like alcoved detailing, and we had to do pipe drops. You know what I mean? So one piece of pipe was taken maybe an hour ago. Like, and I just wonder how that company ever priced for that. You know?
You was about to say there, how do you do it? Like, how you Eastern European fella. And he was the absolute goat.
The goat,
pipe work, wasn't he? He was
unbelievable. The conduit king.
Yeah, that's literally what he was. Like, and without those type of fellas, like who are now, I know, like we've spoke about it before, where it's like lads can get sort of stuck and
pigeonholed into
one thing. Yeah. But he enjoyed it. That was his thing. He was just an artist when it came to the conduit, and you still need those guys. And if that is their forte and that's what they want to do.
You got to keep them around.
Like, fairness, I mean? I just don't know if it's like what you mentioned before. It's more of an industrial fitter, maybe more than an electrician. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I've been lucky over the 10 years of my career. I suppose now at this stage, like I've been on all sorts of jobs, domestic, commercial, and industrial. So I think I've like such good experience in all aspects of it. But like I wouldn't be like, I suppose maybe industrial. It will be my bread and butter now, to be honest. But like, I've no issues like going around wiring a house or anything like that as well. So, I'm glad I got a good look at everything. Like, because we'd always do like houses on the weekend as like mixers, and then work during the week. Yeah. Just work. What
way would you bring the tray up the stairs down the house? Hanging rods.
I don't know. Hanging rods, yeah.
ladder racks.
Saddles up the sidewalk.
Oh yeah, everything's surface in the house. Metal pipes, the whole lot.
But it's like we've been through the ringer in our apprenticeship back. Like, you know, you have companies sort of hitting the wall, similar to what you were saying, and it can sort of put you in a bit of a bind where you start to lose the love of it, but you have to sort of see the end goal that, you know, there's no matter if it's the company that you're working for, it's your apprenticeship at the end of the day. So to not let things sort of, you know, get you down if the likes of that, what you said in the art gallery happens, like how do you keep yourself motivated? Like, or how did you keep yourself motivated?
Oh, it was a weird one because like the money was late one week and then it was an extra day late the next week.
Sounds familiar.
And then he came in and said the money was coming and then the company was gone. Do you know what I mean? And like, I don't know. I still love it, but I've like once the money is always there, there's not going to be any issue for me. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm working.
I think it sort of builds your sort of character as well, doesn't it? Coming out the end of your apprenticeship, seeing that how that works. That like if you were ever over that yourself, or you decided to go down that route of self-employment yourself down the line, you know
the ins and
how it
outs.
feels. You know?
Yeah, I don't know personally if I ever actually want to run a business. I know you run yours, and like I just want someone to line up to work and I'll knock it down. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I want the stress of keeping multiple lads going and always trying to find the next job and like. You must be doing like 60, 70 hour weeks.
Look at
and then, but you must be doing like long weeks and then like the podcast as well. Like, how do you manage that? Like,
you don't see half it. Like, you know, there's
so much more that goes on.
We've so much work on. Like, it's like, there's a lot of admin and a lot of pricing, a lot of design that goes into all them jobs as well. Like, and keeping the things flowing and I suppose. But delegation, like delegating lads for different jobs is definitely the way to go. Like you have to trust your lads Because if you can't, we spoke
Hard to find
upstairs.
staff.
We spoke upstairs.
Yeah.
Like I had 3 absolute Amadons working for me, and like that was stress. Like that was stress. I'm not stressed now. Like I you probably noticed it in me. Like work doesn't really stress me the way it used to do because I've the right lads in place. Like, you know, we're busy. That's kind of stressful, but I know the work when the lads get sent to the job is going to get done right every time. Like I haven't had. I'm going to touch wood now, but we haven't had. I haven't had any issues probably in about a year and a half, like where something hasn't worked or everything is technology. Technology is the thing that gets us.
Your phone's ringing there.
Is it?
No problem.
Yeah, no, I'm not even worried about that anymore. So, but that's all I'd say on that matter is like if you have the right lads, it's
massive, isn't it?
Yeah, and then my wife Jen does all the books, admin, payroll, everything like that. So I don't have to do any of that. Like,
I think all I want is just to like the lads that I work with, and I'm lucky now. I work in a new company, KGE, good group of lads. If there's any electrical contractors out there or contractors that are building housing estates in Swords, we'd love to get working out in Swords. So if anybody's watching, please. We're in Wicklow at the minute, and it's a little bit far away. So please, and like love the new boss, and the lads are great. 2 apprentices are phenomenal. And that's it. I just want to be able to make my videos, go in and enjoy work. That's what I'd say. Happy
enough with the new company and being able to share the content and stuff.
Yeah. I was just looking there because obviously any guest that we get on, like we do a bit of research on them, like we said, like Instagram.
What did you find out?
It's called creeping, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just seeing one of the videos you posted, and I seen the van in the background, seeing the company name, and then I was going looking at the company name.
Yeah,
big website, big.
It's a nice website, isn't it?
Professional.
You should check that out, lads.
But it is that. It's great to have.
Lads from Swords, check that out.
Yeah, lads from Swords.
It's great to have a company back you. You know, because how many lads have we had on, or girls even as well, have said can't talk about the company.
Yeah,
well, that's how I got the job. Was he reached out to me because I did have some issues with videos initially, and he offered me the job. And I'll be honest, I got maybe 15 job offers in about 15 minutes from when I posted something because I built up a network of like 4,000 electricians at that stage. I had like 15 job offers. He was the first person that messaged me. He was the first person I rang. And after talking to him on the phone for about 25 minutes, I was like, I'm just going for this one. I told him I was going to ring someone else, ring a few other lads and go back to him. And I didn't even ring anyone else. Just went with him. So, and like, I understand there's going to be some jobs where we can't make videos, but that's fine because I'll be allowed to make them in the future.
Would it have been an issue if he said you can't do the video content at all? Like literally.
That's the whole reason I moved company in the first place.
Right.
Because it had started to, snowball, and I was like, well, I want to like take this opportunity. Do you know what I mean? Here I am now. So you got to back yourself or take chances, and it was either engineering or an electrical content creator. So I picked the latter. Do you know what I mean? So here we are.
Yeah. No, look, I think for anybody who's coming into the game now, like, and is starting their apprenticeship and has the access to their social media and sees the likes of yourself doing your day-to-days or little tips and tricks and all that, will 100% appreciate it. And within the next, 5 years or whatever it is, 10 years, if you're in any way seeing your content being utilised to promote the trade or at least get somebody out of a hole, like,
100%.
It's all for the best, like, I mean.
Like, I consume so much content online as well. Like the artisan lads or other lads. And I've been watching it and like, I'm always learning. And like, I don't know everything. Anybody who says they know anything doesn't have a clue what they're talking about. I was
literally just going to say that. I'm sure you're okay to get a bit of constructive criticism 100%. On what your videos are showing as well. It works both ways, doesn't it?
Like, I'm always learning and it's never ending. And like, people are like, oh, surely you're going to run out of things to record. And I'm like, it's just so vast. Like, it's never ending. And every day I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. That's a good tip. I'll like write a little note on my phone and then voice note it later.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I just don't see myself ever running out of content. It's like endless. Yeah. It's just never ending.
The industry that it is, isn't it? Forever growing.
Every day is a school day.
What's the toughest question we asked?
Toughest question. Well, the toughest thing he's going to have to do is the challenge wall. But your toughest question is going to be our Spotify playlist. What are you listening to at the moment?
I hope it hasn't been picked before. I'd be surprised if it has or hasn't. But I think in the spirit of the podcast and staying on brand, MGMT, Electric Feel.
Have it every season. We have that.
You have that every season.
No.
Oh, do you not? I was like, no way.
Nobody's
After
never
that
had
big
that.
wind up, no. Has that been picked?
No, really a good one. That's a
Never
great
been.
one.
Yeah,
No,
I think so. Yeah, good
That's
tunes.
class.
And, yeah.
I think,
Cheers, lads.
It's been something that I think we have been looking forward to, like just getting somebody on proper trade chat, like just no holds barred, just
Someone that has the balls.
yeah,
Balls,
fair play
yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
We'll go with this challenge wall now in a minute.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Yeah, you might eat your words.
raring to go. Let's go. I'll get this monster down. We'll get into it.
Yeah. Like every other electrician in
Want
the
to tell your
country.
missus you love her again?
No. The one's up.
Cheers, on.
Right,
Take it
thanks,
easy.
lads. Much appreciated.
This is Insight, the Stripped Back podcast, sponsored by Robus Lighting, the world's leading LED lighting company.
And also brought to you in association with Snickers Workwear Ireland and Velocity Pro Gear.
Paul, thanks for joining myself and Keith on the podcast. Delighted to have you.
No, thanks for having me. Delighted to come in. It's a great setup and looking forward to having a chat.
Look, Paul, if there's any excuse for us to talk about football, we'll always take that chance, and just delighted to have you in.
Yeah.
Right?
You don't mind the red mics, do you?
It goes with kind of with your logo, so we'll get over it. Hey, look, it's a red shell, Brent, so we look at it that way.
Go that way.
Red or dead, isn't it?
But, it's a transfer season at the minute. You just have Grealish in the bag at the minute. What do you think the chances are for next season? Everton, new stadium, fresh look.
I'm not getting carried away just because of the last kind of couple of seasons, but we are in good shape. Although Brantwaite's after getting a hamstring injury, so that's not gonna be good for us. But and we don't have a right back like a traditional right back. It looks like Jake could probably play there again, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because he'll be starting coming into the World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, looking around, we got Dewsbury Hall, who kind of went under the radar as well as a signing, so quite happy with him as well. He's done well. He's only played a game against Roma. We're up against Leeds now this Monday. They got Asnew as well off Bayern Munich, who's a good young fullback, and Mark Travers, obviously another Irish player. So it's great to have 3 Irish players there. And Seamus played actually against Roma, so it looks as though he could be potentially in the squad again for the game on Monday at Ellen Road against Leeds. So I look, Jack Grealish is world class. We just needs to kind of have a manager who has a bit of love and also a little bit of freedom. But I think Moyes has been brilliant at this sort of thing at like a lot of the time in his first reign at Everton. He used to bring in a lot of like United players and, you know, get the best out of them when they've kind of gone away from Fergie or whatever. And I think that could be the same with Grealish. I mean, look what he did with Jesse Lingard, for example. If you can get anything like that out of Grealish this season, I think it'll be good. But I also think, like, if you have him playing at number 10 and linking him with Iliman and Joy, I just think that's going to be something to get excited. We just need a right winger now and hopefully get that by the end of the window, and maybe another striker and potentially
Anthony from United, maybe.
Do you know what? I actually think he could suit Everton. Again, I go back to what I just said there about that. Just that manager shows that bit of love, and I think Anthony could be that type of player. Like, I don't know if you remember Stephen Pienaar. Like, he was out of favour at Dortmund, and Moyes is very Dortmund-looking colours you have on you.
That's what he's known for.
In the 90s, anyway. They're a bit more black and yellow now, but like him and Leighton Baines, like the link up they had, but Pienaar was like seen as surplus to requirements at Dortmund, and Moyes got him in, and he was one of Everton's best players in the modern era of the Premier League. So, look, I think Moyes is brilliant at that sort of thing where he can bring a player in who's not been shown the love. Look at Jake O'Brien, the back end of last season. Because Sean Dyche, if I'd be here all day talking about how bad of a manager he is just, I think he's the last coming of those sort of big Sam Allardyce moulded managers, because they're honestly what type of football he was playing at Everton was anti-football. It was brutal to watch.
You see him as the guy that's going to be getting the calls now, the way Sam Allardyce used to, with the,
keeping lads up.
I hope not. I mean, if you talk to Burnley fans, they might have been happy or whatever, but I think if he gets another job, I think you'll see that the Everton fan base weren't mad. Like, fair play, kept us up the first year, and he did a fireman's job there. But the season after, he should have went. He should have went as soon as he kept Everton up, because he just wasn't good. And the way he was talking, especially the season where with the points deduction and stuff like that, he was talking about we're in a relegation battle from the first week.
Yeah.
You don't like
Yeah,
Everton are too big a club to be in relegation battles every single year. Some people might laugh at that or whatever, and you'll think you'll see a new Everton coming into the new season. But Everton are a massive club, and they shouldn't be where they are, where they have been the last number of seasons. And obviously the squad and the ownership and everything has been reflective of where we are. But thankfully now we've new owners, and I've been very impressed with the new owners and what they've done. So it's mad being able to go into the season and just be optimistic now.
I was about to say that optimism is the main thing.
As a Liverpool fan, like you,
we had the same thing with
Liverpool.
He is, I'm United.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything there. Just wanted to ease you into it, you know what I mean?
Few people always say that to me. It's like, I didn't want you to kill me. It's like,
No, look, we've been, I remember watching games over in Stephen's house, like he was a United fan, you know, through the Fergie days. We'd like Gerard Houllier, Roy Evans and the like, so we've been through the crap as well. So,
but you were still winning things, and then you can imagine little old Everton in the corner there looking at both of you winning stuff. So
yeah,
people always say that to me, and I don't feel sorry for them, all the Liverpool fans.
Seeing the likes of Everton invest in their stadium, though, like knowing that there's a good state-of-the-art stadium in Liverpool.
Yeah, no, it's like I never had anything like, I know Everton, Liverpool, like, but I always actually liked watching Everton as well. Do you know what I mean? There was never any. Like, loved the Leighton Baines, Gareth Barry, and all them lads. Like, always loved them. Yakubu, the Yak Attack. Like, he's one of my favourite players. Like, you know, I know he wasn't that great, but he was one of those lads. Like, just love watching him.
We were like that with City, though, until they got a bit of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it
They looked
changes
at the little brother.
Yeah.
He's all right till he gets to a certain point, and then because we don't do it, and like we have obviously the games against us twice a year, put up a good fight most of the time.
Yeah.
But other than that, you don't really care about us. Do you know what I mean? In that story, whereas we're all like, I think in time, obviously, since I've been doing the channel and stuff like that, I've kind of eased my tribalism, I suppose, towards my hatred of Liverpool. But definitely growing up, I hate it because it felt as though Everton were cursed by Liverpool. Probably the way you felt about United.
Yeah.
If you can kind of
understand
understand what I mean by that.
Exactly
so yeah, just it was tough growing up. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse. I almost did.
Oh yeah.
Get it all out. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was fucking horrible growing up, and obviously Istanbul, the Champions League winning thing, and it's like I've never met such a jammy team in my life, but they all say that they're not jammy.
When Jimmy Traore wins the Champions League medal, like there has to be something wrong, like, you know.
Steve Finnan won one, so
yeah, well, that was lovely for him, but like Jimmy Traore, I'd say you had to like grab it out of his hand, like,
you can say the same, but there's some of the lads that must have walked away with Premier League medals and stuff. You know what I mean? It's part of that squad. You get those minimum games, you get the numbers, and you get that medal at the end. And I'm sure they have them up in their gaps. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, but I guess taking things like you were talking about growing up and the love for football, were you one to play yourself growing up in the local area or local team?
Yeah, I would have played with Bradford Rovers. Pretty much played my whole schoolboy life there. It was my local team, and then my dad was the chairman there as well. He helped kind of build a lot of the stuff that's there now. Like, there's an AstroTurf and all there now. There was a plaque up on the Astro. He passed away in 2011, but there was a plaque up kind of thanking him for his services, I think, because they took it down because the weather was like it was raining in Ireland. But it's up by Marley Park there, the club is, and they have a good strong kind of schoolboy club there and stuff like that. So I would have been playing there since 7, right up till I was about under 18. And yeah, it was kind of a product of my environment around there, playing football every bleeding day of the week on the local field. There's a tree or two trees. I think they were one. They weren't always aligned together, so there was a few VAR decisions, as you can imagine. But it was literally like, especially like the summer now. Yeah, the fresh grass. You saw that fresh, everyone to the field, and you'd be playing World Cup knockout, everything.
League,
and it was literally anyone on the field wants to play, come over and play, and it was like team knockout and all of this, and there was killings, all in good nature and stuff like that. But that was typical kind of growing up where I lived around our estate. It would have been like that till I was about 15 or 16, probably. junior cert after that, going into fourth year, then started kind of drinking and this and that.
Drinking beside the tree, like, or
It was a different tree, to be fair, but kind of moved down towards Sandyford with the drinking and stuff like that. The Dundrum Town Centre would have been kind of opening up, and we used to hang around there, hanging around the street corners there and all. But yeah, it was probably a typical life for a young fella around there. Can't think of any mad stories that happened when I was young. It was all fairly normal. But football was life. Once the '98 World Cup came about, I was football obsessed from then. It's never left me. The drug. I like GAA to an extent, and I'd watch a couple of sports, more so now combat sports, like boxing or MMA or any of them. I was fascinated by Holland, and then I was like, fucking love this, and this is brilliant. My dad was delighted because he was trying to get me into football for so long. And then
I presume the Everton thing was your dad's fault, was it?
Yeah. It is definitely character building. I've been hearing the whole weekend, or the week I was away there. I met an Everton fan. He was saying the same thing, and I saw Tony Bellew saying, "Being Everton fans,
He's a big Everton fan.
Character building, because Jesus, they test you, especially the last couple of years. And even at that time, they weren't good.
Yeah.
When I was a kid growing up, they weren't good. Like this is pre-Moyes the first time, and yeah, they weren't a good side. But like once my dad took me to Goodison, it was I kept on saying I wanted to change team because everyone were doing so bad. I was going to school and people were laughing at me and stuff like that. So I think the first year I would have followed football was United won the treble that year. York and Cole. Yeah, it was a great year to be following football. To be fair, unless you're say Liverpool. I didn't actually mean that in a jab way, but no. But like they were just so good to watch, that United team, and one of my best mates was a United fan, so I was kind of happy for him. And just being able to watch that, and then the treble, and then I think I got playing football then that year and stuff like that.
I always wondered with the likes of United, you see the worldwide sort of grandeur of everybody wanting the tourist trap ticket sales. You know what I mean? So they get over and. You see the likes of maybe Liverpool, the way they are now, they're pulling that in now as well. But their names being built.
Turn it into that.
Yeah, the likes of the Evertons and stuff. Would you have had the stadium full of just locals? And would it have been tough to get tickets to get in, maybe from Ireland, or would it have been easy enough as an Irishman going over and pulling a ticket?
My dad was actually part of, he was kind of part of founding this supporters club called the Irish Toffees. So you get tickets through them. Right. And, you know, we used to go over, we used to have this thing called the Junior Blues, and we'd all go over once a year. But the good thing about it was my brother would go, my cousin would go, my cousin was an Everton fan, so was my uncle. So generally speaking, my uncle would go, his son, one of his mates, then maybe sometimes it'd be one of my mates and one of my brother's mates and my dad. Yeah. And we'd all be going over. So it'd be like a weekend that we get a game in, we get to go to the training ground beforehand. I remember watching Wayne Rooney training one time. He was about 16 or 17. And I was wow, like this is class, you know. And you get to meet people like Duncan Ferguson. I got to meet Moyes. Got to meet a load of them up until a certain point, and then they moved training grounds out to Finch Farm. So we didn't really get to go out as much anymore. But it was it was class. Like we got access through being the supporters club, and they tried to look after us in that way, and we got to present players with the Player of the Year award from the supporters club and all of that. So that we had different bits, and they did great work to try obviously bring in stuff for kids as well. So it's not just, so you're going to Megastore, so like it wasn't like for United or Liverpool fans over here when you're a kid growing up, like we couldn't go in and get an Everton jersey so easily. So when you went over to the Megastore, like I was like a kid at Christmas, I was like, it's like, the away jersey or the tracksuits, stuff you can't get. The internet wasn't big at the time, so the only time you could be there, and then be coming home, or my dad would bring us in and say, can I get that, or can I get this, or and you get us something. Didn't always want to get us something, but I think he was just so happy to see us wearing Everton gear that we got something out. The
hooks were in.
So it was, and then every Christmas was always an Everton jersey or whatever. My dad would be over at games and stuff like that, so he'd pick up stuff, or one of his mates or something like that, So it was all just from that point onwards. It was just there was no other choice, even if I wanted to. And then I think Moyes came in 01. I would have been 11 or something like that. So that
Would it have been the stereotypical? I know when I used to go to the Liverpool games, it would have been getting the boat over. Was it the boats, or did you just fly over? Because I remember I used to love getting the boat because it was such a, you'd be that extra 3 hours on the boat getting over and stuff.
It's a mix. Like sometimes they do a boat trip now where they do a boat trip over. It's good and that, but it's a bit long. I just prefer the kind of half an hour flight. Sometimes that's not even that much. I just prefer to get there and like, all right, I'm here. Well, as a kid, like I didn't really mind it. Yeah, so it was more flights, but it was like red hour flights at that time, So when you actually got there, you'd be knackered, but you didn't really care because actually a great kind of perspective is like when we used to get the gear from the club shop, we'd all be in like the Premier Inn on Vernon Street. And I remember this because I was in Vernon Street about 2 months ago, and I remember the street is the exact same, but they had a little square there. So you can imagine there's about 30 different kids and we're all supporting Everton and we're all after getting our new gear. So we all got a ball and we're all out in the square and we're all killing each other playing football. No one got hurt. Like it was just it was just we all wanted to be the player who it was at the time. I can't like back then. It would have been like, I don't know, Duncan Ferguson, Kevin Campbell. So
you were killing each other then, basically. If you're copying Duncan Ferguson,
well, yeah, I suppose if you take it into that aspect of it, but like it was. I used to always get mad players in the back. I remember I had Bakayoko. He was terrible. Ibrahim Bakayoko. I think that was my first jersey. And he was on the back of it. But it was like Kevin Campbell when he came in then that season and he single-handedly kept Everton up. Unfortunately, passed away last year or the year before. But he was amazing. He was one of those players who... And then we met him, obviously, at the training ground. He was a really nice guy. And yeah, it's cool when you meet your heroes and they're nice, as a kid. It's
like the Kevin Phillips and all them, like just used to bang in goals, like give him a sniff and he'd take it, like But
that particular season, 98, 99, he kept us up single-handedly. Like he came in, I think, near Christmas time from Trabzonspor and he scored a lot of goals and kept us up because we were dead and buried. Like at that stage, he was unreal.
Was it good sharing those memories with your dad?
Yeah,
because my dad, I know your dad his dad was big on the football. He was at all our games and stuff.
He's an underdog supporter. He'll support everyone who's the underdog, But he's Aston Villa from years.
Good club, yeah.
So it would have brought up on Aston Villa for years. But now it's my whole household United. Mother United, brother, sister, me.
You just hate going watching matches.
My dad was always, whoever United was playing, he was up for. But now it's like, we're the underdog, so it's United for him.
Yeah, no, like, was that good for you anyway, sharing those times with your dad? Like,
yeah, and I think my dad was always very hard on me. That's probably something we'll talk about later on with ADHD and stuff like that. There was always so when we were in those moments of supporting Everton, like it was always great memories and always good fun and stuff like that. Because he'd always be going mad about something like at the flight or something. I actually vividly remember one time I dropped our match tickets and they were like, you could only get the match tickets as a hard copy. Yeah. And in the hotel on the way down to the room, I remember he said, grab the tickets on the way down. And I left them in the hallway or something like that. I remember it went like that. And I was like, I must have left them upstairs or something like that. I found him in the end anyway, but he always used to do that, slagging me for years after that, and we ended up finding the tickets, thankfully, but he didn't really mind. But yeah, we had great memories going over to the again till about I was 18. Yeah, and then we stopped going to them Junior Blues games, you know what I mean? But I felt like our relationship was changing in a positive manner, like because he'd always be hard on me because it wasn't maybe necessarily good in school or this and that, and then he'd always be at my football matches, and that was another area where he always would come and watch. Now he would never shout at him from the sideline. He was actually very good. Like he'd come if anyone was giving me hassle on my team, or I used to get bullied a lot when I was growing up. Yeah. So if anyone was bullying me on the team, he would say something then, but he wouldn't really step in that much, which was good. It allowed me to get on with my game. Yeah. And I didn't have to worry about having someone screaming at me the whole time, because I hear so many people like they deal with the pressure of their parents at games. Yeah. It's not good. You know what I mean?
An academic expectation on you from your father.
I think when you get the your report every term, and it says doesn't apply himself, easily distracted, and all the signs were there, like, but when you see that and it doesn't apply himself, people think you're stupid, and he thinks that you're not trying. And I remember he used to come home from work. He used to work in advertising in the Irish Examiner. That was his job. So yeah, he used to come home and I'd be dreading it because I knew I'd be in for an earful. And believe me, when I got an earful, he was a scary man. But he'd just keep going on and on. And I was like, oh, Jesus. Like, I heard you, like, you said it like 5 times, to ramble again.
Can't concentrate on this now.
No, he just kept going. But I pretend to be asleep, and so he'd come home and he'd be, get up out of that bed. What's this? And he'd go through every single report, and I'd be like, and then my mum, I could see her feeling sorry for me. Like, oh. And then, because she was like soft in comparison to him, she'd be terrified of everyone, whereas he wouldn't he'd be direct, you know what I mean? I'd be like him on a football pitch, but then I'd be a bit more like my ma sometimes as well. But yeah, so with that sort of thing, I'd end up winning the league. I think just a month before he passed away. We won it. He passed away a month before we won the league, so he didn't get to actually see us win the league. So that was a bit shit, like, to be honest, because he'd never seen me win a trophy or anything like that. And we were coasting in the league, like we were unbeaten and stuff like that. Your way. Yeah, well, that was a different team, Steadfast, which is actually, it's a team I actually recreated again back in 2020 because they folded, so I actually got the club back up and running again.
Yeah, seen that.
So that's gone really well. That's gone really like strong. The two teams again this year, and even though it's kind of far away from where I live now, I still, and actually something I'm very proud of is actually we're going to be sponsoring a jersey for them for a kit for the season. So it's kind of like a full circle moment where I got two things I have brought together through obviously Macron. She's actually picking that jersey up tomorrow, so actually good thing I remember that. Yeah. So that's a really proud moment for me, just to be able to kind of bring those two things together. But my dad's relationship with that was basically, I felt as though we were becoming more mates as I was getting older.
It was a common kind of.
He wasn't just gone, like I was working full time in River Island and Dundrum. In the shop, actually had a great number there, to be honest with you, because I was the only lad working there on the floor, so all the girls would be coming in, and I don't think I realised how lucky I had it then, but good times they were. But it was like that, where it's frustrating now when I look back and if he had known maybe that I was trying, and it wasn't just laziness, because it was branded that by a few people at that time, as obviously the teachers then as well.
That sort of stem into then the bullying, because myself and Keith spoke about it before in the podcast, where you'd see a lot of lads growing up within secondary school, and you'd have the love for football or GAR or whatever it is, and you'd have that sort of camaraderie, like, where it means that, like, you'd come in on the Monday morning, you'd be all talking about the game on the Sunday or the Saturday or whatever, and you're in that sort of group, you're in that sort of clique where you're not that you're unbullyable, but at least
you've got a bit of backup.
You've got a bit of backup. Did you find yourself isolated at all because of the academic end of it in school, or was it just something else that maybe put a bit of a target on your back?
Look, it was more like in primary school and stuff like that. Look, it was basically bully or be bullied in that sense, and then secondary school was very like that. You know what I mean? I actually, funny because I obviously have the hair the way it is now. I did have a similar sort of look in my early teenage years, and I had big buck teeth, so I had to get braces for the first couple of years and stuff like that. So I just got picked on from my appearance and stuff like that. I was very thin, and then obviously I had those looks as well. But look, I can't sit here and go I didn't give it back to people, because I definitely did. And I think going to an all boys school, you have to
dog eat dog.
So sometimes you have to be horrible, and there's elements I definitely regret to other people for sure when I was growing up. But again, it was like that where you get picked on, and it was like our year. Jesus Christ, when I think of the people we had, like, you wouldn't wish it upon anyone to be in our year, because it was we're all killers.
Yeah.
Like, and with the slagging as well. Like, that's why I always have something in the chamber
Yeah.
ready if anyone comes at me for anything. Like, it could be anything.
Go on, Theo.
There's a pen there. There's somebody I was going to say.
But it's just funny like that. I was like honestly, people. But sometimes I don't even have to say anything. Sometimes I just give someone a look. They'll say something, and I just go, "All right, yeah, good man," and that's enough. That can kill them. Like, it was different coping mechanisms. You know what I mean? But yeah, look, I when I say bullying, I don't mean it to the extremes, but definitely when I was younger, like actually when we were away actually at a camp in Maastricht and we won the cup in Maastricht. So he did get to see me win that cup, I suppose. But I was kind of like a bit part player. I was a very nervous kid. Never really felt like I was good enough. I was always anxious as a child with football. Like, you know, our manager was really hard on us and you'd always be afraid to make a mistake.
You spoke to Adam Foley about that, like performance anxiety nearly.
Yeah.
Like you could be decent at football, but the nerves can sometimes just get the better of you before you even kick the ball. Like,
but then you'd have other kids trying to give you abuse as well, like that, or team up against you. And that was definitely more, so not so much my teenagers, but more the earlier. And then I remember I actually quit a few times. My dad was like, why are you not playing or whatever? I said, no interest in playing or whatever. I remember actually one game when I was about 8 or 9 and I stayed in bed. I said, fuck them, I'm not playing for them. Like, they treat me like shit. The manager goes mad at me and I'm always a sub.
Sometimes it's adults that are the worst part of that.
Yeah, but he was a brilliant manager though, I'll tell you what. Anyway, like despite what I say there, but I remember. So my dad rang home to the house because he was over the field. My brother would have been like a year and a half older than me, and he would have been playing for a team. And in fairness, my dad managed their team as well. I actually would go up sometimes and train with them. But I don't know what it was when I was younger. I felt more confident up against my brother's team and their players, and I'd be skinning them, and I just no fear. It was great. And then when I got down to my team, it's like anxiety. I don't know what it was. We had a few pricks on the team, unfortunately. Yeah, it's just kids though, like nothing against them now. Yeah. But that game, my dad rang home, he says, "Oh, they're without a player or whatever, will you come over and play?" And I remember I came over and played, and I played an unreal game. I was in the paper and everything for coming over. We ended up winning the game or whatever. I think from then on, it kind of kicked on where it was kind of like, okay, you can see he's kind of a player here. And then I think I spent the summer playing football or whatever, and then I came up. And then the manager was kind of like, "Oh, you've improved here, you know." And I ended up winning club manager of the year, which is like most improved. Yeah. Around then, but again, I was going into every game like terrified. But being terrified of the manager helped me in a sense because I played like some really good games at left back, and I was winning all my tackles and all. And then it was just, I don't know what it was, but I think there was that fear kind of drove me to play better.
You have that skill in you because you were saying obviously you were showing it at different levels and different age groups. You have it inside you, and it's just some sort of anxiety that's literally caging it.
It's definitely personnel. Like we spoke about, like Callum, like, you know, in different teams. Like he's been, he's played with Bows, Drogheda, and Dundalk like in the last couple of years. Like, but like even the group dynamics, like he played a lot better with Drogheda than he did Bows, and now he's kicked on. And he's playing probably better football with Dundalk. It's just the lads you have around and the coaches. Like it's massive.
It can be how you feel as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if you're confident, like at the team I'm at now, like I'll be one of the leaders in the team. But like growing up, I always felt like I was never good enough for anything. Like I was always put down no matter what I did. Yeah. I was always, I always doubted about everything I did. So probably follows me to this day, but I don't let it affect me now as it would, you know. But I've always been like doubted in that sense. I've always kind of in jobs and all, just always questioned, you know what I mean? So it does get quite frustrating, to be honest.
Obviously you had the love for Everton, which is the English game, but then to drive that then into, you know, a love for just Irish football, Irish personnel, the league and players who play abroad, like what was the focus on that? Where did that come from?
There's a couple of elements to it. I would have been brought to see Shelbourne games from a very young age by my dad. My granddad was a big Shells fan, and like the Everton stuff, we'd bring friends all the time. So good few of my friends are actually Shells fans, which is a bit weird when you live in Ballantyre and you're going to Drumcondra to support Shells when obviously there's other teams closer to home there. But Rovers weren't really playing that at the time and stuff like that. But I don't think I would have been allowed to support anyone else similar to Everton. But no, I was going to the games every week. I loved it in the League of Ireland every Friday night. It was driving, going to the games, and Shells were really good back then, and got to even do my transition year work experience in Talca. Actually the year before I was actually a couple of weeks, I think, before Shells actually ended up getting relegated, and then Dermot Keeley was actually my maths teacher for the Leaving Cert, would you believe? So 5th and 6th year, I think he was managing Shells, and he was hardly ever in, but he was managing Shells. I kind of went away from supporting the League of Ireland, I suppose, in that sense. But after the 98 World Cup, obviously Ireland were good. I remember going to my first game against Croatia. Dennis Irvin scored a penalty. I think, I can't remember who scored the other goal, but and they just finished third in the World Cup in 98.
Yeah.
So I remember going, we're going to see Croatia. And obviously I was obsessed with that World Cup. So we used to go to all the Ireland games. My dad used to get us all the tickets, and we played France and we played Brazil, and it's just like, this is just the best ever, I was actually a ball boy for Ireland and Holland. McAteer scored. Me and my brother were.
Oh yes.
So that was a brilliant memory. Yeah, that was a brilliant memory. I had the club Broadford at the time. Got a load of lads. Got the chance. There was about 12 of us. A couple of my teammates as well at the time, and then obviously my brother and me. So that was nice. And then my dad was at the game. I think he had McAteer to score. I remember he was drunk as anything. And
I want to be drunk to bet on him.
Yeah, but he found me. Well, he was actually all right, to be fair, McAteer, for Ireland. But he found me in the ground or whatever, because I was in the corner or whatever. And he came over, and I could see he was drunk as could be, but he was enjoying himself. And he came over and he was just waving, just making sure I was all right and stuff like that. They went back to his seat and all, but we beat Holland that day. And actually, I remember met Roy Keane before the game when he was actually, this is typical Roy Keane, and it's just a story to give you. But we were standing outside the car park or whatever, and the Dutch team are kind of all over here. So there's like Bergkamp and Van Nistelrooy and Overmars, all these players, Van der Sar, Edgar Davids, all these unreal Dutch players. And obviously 98 World Cup was my thing, and they were my team for that. Yeah. So I was standing there going, wow, like this is class. And then I literally turn around, like literally touching as I turn around, and I'm looking up and it's Roy Keane. I'm like, Roy, can I have an autograph? He just ignored me, just stared straight at the team bus, said nothing. And then obviously went out and had one of the best games we've probably ever seen from an Irish person. And we beat Holland. I actually held that resentment towards Roy for a long time, because obviously I was a kid. And
so did Rory McIlroy, didn't he?
Yeah. So when I was hearing that, I was like, at least I wasn't the only one. I met him years later, and I got a photo with him, with my arm around him and all. So we're all good now. But so what you were saying there about the media, and it just, like, I've always been following the Irish players and stuff like that. And then I was in Canada for 2 years, and in between that I went to Thailand during the Euros of 2016 when Robbie Brady scored that goal against Italy. But it was around then I just remember seeing all the videos that were all going viral, and I was like, there's nothing kind of back home for me, because I would watch a lot of this Toffee TV, which was it's an Everton fan channel. I'd be good mates with them. They're great guys, and I've obviously done stuff with them for years now, and gone over probably the last 7 years to do stuff with them and stuff. But I used to watch all of their stuff, because when you're living in Canada, it's hard to keep up with times. The games are kicking off at 3. It's like 8 a.m. Sometimes I was working in like a Tesco sort of job in Canada, and so I had to be up at like 8 and having to go in. And sometimes I used to say, "Oh, listen, I'll be in at 9," pretending I was doing something. And because a few of the lads actually were my mates, and they were the managers, so they didn't really mind. Because like Sky Go and stuff like that, you didn't have you weren't able to watch it on your phone like you would now. Now it wouldn't be an issue. I'd be hiding in the chiller, stocking the milk, and I'd have the game on, so it wouldn't be an issue. But it was I came back in March 2017, and I actually went over to do something with them. Yeah. But it was like we used to always be able to keep up they do analysis on the game and stuff like that. So you kind of understand how games work. And I really like the way they do it. and the way they did it, and it was just a great way of staying up to date with all the Everton stuff. And I was like, there's nothing like that for Irish football at all.
There's lads there like in Australia, Canada, all over Europe, like
States as well.
The States as well.
Yeah.
They're just, you know,
Just out in the wrong time zone.
that's it. And it's not even just out of the wrong time zone. It's just there's no platform there for them to.
Well, because you can't watch obviously RTE. And
Yeah. It's all locked. They're locked out of it. You know what I mean? And to have that platform available, you know, ready like online. Plus, it's coming from lads that, you know, are fans of the game. Like, you know what I mean? So it's a different, I think, angle that people feel like that they can be a part of. You know what I mean? That their opinions. It's like with the podcast, yourself with the podcast and everything. It's people are getting that straight, you know, no bullshit chat from you, conversation. Where I find that like if it's the likes of the main broadcasters and stuff, it's a fairly scripted chat, like that, you know, has been talked about well in advance, and it's going to come out like as clean, as crisp as possible. There's no sort of dirt in it, like, which I think I enjoy when listening to yourselves talk. It's real, like it's true chatter, you know.
I watch one. It's an Irish fella in Wexford. The Anfield Agenda. He's the Liverpool. It'd be the same thing, but I just find that it's like it's honest, like, you know what I mean, and it's literally unscripted, and anything could be said. Like, you're getting the unfiltered stuff. Where if you're on Sky or any of them, like, you're getting a bit of polishing.
Yeah, it's a bit dry,
stuff.
like,
Yeah, I think that's just the way, unfortunately, this country is a bit backwards. Like, you know what I mean? You obviously see with, you know, in England, they have like people who do stuff like similar to me would be brought on to talk, whatever. I've never once been offered to come and do anything, even though I did a bit of work with Virgin before. But like, I was lucky enough to be brought twice to 2 games this year by like TNT, because they recognise the work that we do for Irish football. There's an element of frustration because I see people who haven't been doing stuff for nowhere near as long as me, and then there's opportunities presented.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I'd always be wondering, like, what did we do wrong, and why are no one in this country coming to us put English top broadcasters are coming to us? That's what I just can't understand.
That make you feel like you could possibly be a bit of a threat.
I feel like we definitely compete. I think there's no doubt about that. I don't think it's any coincidence that the attendances since we've started in 2017 have risen massively since we've came on the scene. You know what I mean? And essentially, it's been me. Like, all these people have teams. Like, they've like a production team, and then they have a marketing team, and then they have all of these things. Whereas it's just me doing all of these things, like juggling about 20 different plates. So I don't think anyone could do what I do. I don't think anybody else, and to be able to have something to start from absolutely nothing, just an idea, to be able to have it competing with your likes of your major broadcasters and radio stations and so on, and to be in the same company of them and media. I don't think anyone else could do it, and I think that's down to my ADHD, which you can look at it 2 ways. It can be an absolute hindrance, or it can be an absolute superpower. On this occasion, on this particular thing, it's a superpower.
Perfection.
Are you proud of it? Like, are you proud of what you've built till now, based on
no help?
Not even that, no help. The ADHD aspect of it, knowing that it's a late diagnosis, it's an adult diagnosis. It's through years of not fully understanding why you're doing what you're doing, or why you could be up at 3:00 in the morning or whatever it is, burning the candle at both ends, but getting results out of it. And eventually, then there's the burnout aspect of it. Can you be proud of what you've built, but at the same time be a bit scared of how tough it can be on you doing what you're doing, or what you've done to get to where you've got to?
I think this is definitely, I'm proud for sure, absolutely proud, and I'm thankful that my mum got to see a good chunk of my memories and the people I got to meet and stuff like that. obviously in recent years it's gone up another level, which has been brilliant, but she hasn't got to see that. But I don't know, maybe I believe that somehow she's watching her around, and same as my dad. I think thinking that gives me a nice feeling, you know what I mean? Because it was always like with my dad, he never had anything to really be proud of me other than the football. Whereas if he saw what I was doing now, I think he'd be like,
unbelievable,
fair play to you. And a lot of people, the thing that makes me most proud is that I could have given up so easily at so many different times, and everybody wanted to rub it in my face. And that gave me the chip on my shoulder to say, you know what, fuck you. I'm going to show you. You're going to eat your words. And now I have. And when I kind of look at it, like this year, like earlier on today, I was saying to you is that, like, the Premier League actually want me to come in and do a show with them in a couple of weeks about Everton, where I was brought over by my dad, going to games, watching games, and now I'm actually going to be working at the game and going into the studio and talking about Everton and the new stadium in the Premier League and so that's like a full circle moment. Getting to work with TNT Sports,
they want your opinion on it, like, which is
I'm
sure that's surreal.
And but they're using our platform to promote TNT, so people will watch the European games on TNT, because you wouldn't get that over here.
Yeah,
and then you have like other moments where like you become friends with your idols, or they respect your opinion as well. And as I say, like a lot of my friends wanted me to not do well so they could use it as a tar to brush you with.
Told you so.
Yeah, but now, like, no matter what anybody says, I can always say, like, I've started something from absolutely nothing, with no resources, no money, no nothing, just pure, dedicated hard work and relentlessness for years, to have a platform, as I say, that competes with the national broadcasters, the national radio stations and all of that, as well as obviously getting the opportunity to work with like the Premier League, meeting my heroes. My heroes respect me and would talk to me and stuff like that, and treat you like a human being.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely proud of that. And then the ADHD side of things, like, I've been burnt out so many times and stuff like that before I got the diagnosis. But now I'll know, right, I'm going to take a day off here, or I'm going to relax here.
Yeah.
And I haven't been burnt out since I got the diagnosis in January. And I haven't been burnt out because I'm literally just back from holiday there. I just said, I'm going to take a holiday. Best thing I did. I came back, I'm refreshed, I'm ready to go. The World Cup campaign on the horizon, I'm ready to go for it. So trust me, like, it was difficult. There's been so many difficult moments, where so many different times where I could have stopped. But I kept going. I kept adapting. I kept finding ways to keep going. And look, there's all these people out here who are trying to, like, how would you say, like, not copy, but trying to do everything like us.
Yeah.
Maybe we built the blueprint for them or something, but they're all trying to, like, join together and amalgamate all of these pages and all to try and get to, like, I've literally grown all of our platforms organically and all of these to nearly over 140,000 followers, subscribers, basically a community. I done all that. Do you know what I mean? And I've had obviously lads who've come in as volunteers and everything like that. But that's why I go back to saying I don't think anybody else could do that. And I'm not blowing my own trumpet here, but I just think it's
you can't pretend, like, you know what I mean? No. You have the hard yards done.
Absolutely.
With going with your uncles and your dad and following the league, and your dad going into watch Everton and all that kind of stuff. Like, a lot of lads don't do that growing up. They wouldn't do it to that extent. And playing football yourself as well, like.
Yeah, it's just always been an obsession, and then to be able to combine all of these things, and then also, like, there's another side to it as well, whereas, like, I get invited to these events. Like, Liam Brady gave a girl my number to help her promote an event which he was going to be doing. And then, funny enough, I got to bring one of my good mates who actually helped me along the journey and was kind of helped me invest in and kind of give me loans of money and stuff to help me do stuff.
Yeah.
And then he was out, so it was an event with Liam Brady and Ray Parler and Paul Merson, and I got to do interviews with them as well. Well, not Liam, but I had done him before already.
Yeah.
But then Brian got to meet his hero and have a pint with him in the room, backstage, away from everything else. And so that's priceless for me, is that my mates get to meet their heroes. I brought my other mate to meet Andy Cole. I got to do an interview with Andy Cole. He got to meet Andy Cole and sit there and chat with him. And I go talk about 99, again, going full circle. But so many full circle moments. There's been others. I brought him to meet Paul Scholes as well on another occasion. And a friend of mine who's a physio as well, he's going to meet Eric Cantona in November, and just different things like that. And it's obviously,
don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous.
I know. So we got Paul on.
But it's been like that, and then like it's opened doors into other areas. So like I've been like interviewing Katie Taylor in boxing, and Eddie Hearn then was calling me Calvin Harris. I don't look like him anymore, but he was calling me that, and it's just funny little moments like that. He's actually a really nice fella though, Eddie, to be honest. But just like that, it just opened up so many doors, and I believe that I could take the same formula and put it into different sports or whatever, you know what I mean? So I ended up, there was a point just after my mum passed away in 2023, and I was working for the company for a year, so I kind of take that year out from Irish Football Fan TV, but it's still involved. So the idea was that they were going to buy the company or whatever from me. It never materialised. I ended up leaving after about 6 months. I just didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't really for me. It wasn't propelling me like they were saying it was going to. And then I just thought other people there got preferential treatment, and I ended up not being able to, switch off. Like as soon as you go home, you're on the clock watching, and you have to be, it's like for the money I was getting, it just wasn't worth it. And so I ended up leaving there, and then I've just been kind of going back at this now full time again. And again, it's not been easy. Like I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's been easy. I've had to go out and get different jobs. I've had to do delivery driving just to pay bills and stuff like that. I've been on the dole. There's been loads of hard. I wouldn't recommend the route that I've gone to a lot of people, but at the same time, I wouldn't change any of my journey.
I remember, like, just going back to, you mentioned the blueprints and what the plan might have been. When you set out on this, what would you call it, an adventure even, or pursuit? Journey, yeah. What was the original plan for, like, what did you think it could be? Because you're talking to, Katie Taylor, Eddie Hearn, like.
Yeah, I didn't think that kind of came left field, but I did see.
Stems from.
Yeah, I did. I saw Toffee TV, and they would have a lot of like Everton players that I would have watched growing up, and they would get them in and they'd have casual chats with them, and I was like, that's so cool. Like they're getting to meet and chat with their heroes. I'd love to do something like that as well. And actually going over, so I kind of skipped over this, but when I went over to them when I came back, like I went into their studio and I was like, I think I'd be all right at this, and I wasn't. Like they literally clapped thing, and I was just like frozen. Do you know what I mean? So it's not as easy. People just think it's just going. But I learned so much, obviously, being around them, and I would always message them for advice. And it's funny now, they had me over in June giving them advice on how to help with their TikToks and different bits like that. And also that was kind of mad at the same time, like, but it was great to kind of be able to be in with them and help them. And we always kind of help each other. You probably know Baz, he's the Everton fan on the overlap.
Yeah.
And everyone always likes him.
Yeah,
but and then there's obviously Ped as well. But they always help me over the years, and every time I go over, I stay an extra day and I go into the studio with them. I'll see them and we'll talk about the game. And they've just been really, really helpful, and especially Baz, since my mum passed away, he's always messaging me and stuff like that all the time. He's just a great person. But it was just kind of from, I always believe, like, and that's why it's so funny that like everyone was laughing at me and saying this is the worst thing I've ever watched and all, when because I just picked up a camera and I could barely talk in front of the thing. Like, so I understand. I didn't at the time, but I do now. I understand where some people were coming from, but you think you'd get your support from your mates rather than.
That's the reason I asked you, because we kind of not that it's anything like what you're doing, but it's a similar kind of thing where we just said, sure, we'll just start this, you know what I mean? And it's something that we're passionate about. Originally, we were just trades based, and
you don't know what you're growing. You know what I mean? You're planting a seed, and you're nearly getting. I don't know if it was one step at a time, and you're saying, right, we're going in a certain direction, but you're getting other people in your ear then as well, and not all good, like which was you're saying, like they're telling you you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that, like, or I think one of the things that you're saying, one of your best mates at the time, like, was saying, "What are you doing, Keith?" Like, you know what I mean, don't do the podcast. You know what I mean? It's
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's jealousy.
I just think that's mad that, like, you know, this stems from like Paul looking at the lads on the Everton channel, and then like
Seeing
I don't
the
know how
back
many
and the
years
back,
down the talking to talking to Katie Taylor, like, you know what I mean, one of the the hottest properties in sport, like.
But do you see that, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're looking at, like,
Yeah, I'm just thinking, do you understand that?
Yeah, do you see it like?
Do you see it like that? Do you know what I mean? Because from us from the outside looking in, we're looking at the people that you're meeting and you're getting face to face.
Boxing's a bit more accessible, a bit more easier, to be honest with you.
Don't be playing yourself down.
But my mate actually grew a boxing channel based off IFFTV.
Yeah.
The success to that. I met him through coaching over in Canada. He actually did some bits for me, and then he implemented that into boxing, and he actually became a very big kind of figure within the Irish boxing scene, and he actually got a statue in Drogheda for Deirdre Gogarty. She's a female boxer. So he actually worked tirelessly. He actually is the friend who got ADHD and then was the one who helped me get on. So Kieran, he'll be listening to this, no doubt. He's a great friend of mine. He's been a brilliant friend. I've known him since 2016, but we became properly close probably around 2018. But he's a brilliant friend, and we would go to the boxing bits here and there, and like, and then he would get in. He was getting all the media access and all of that sort of stuff. But I just basically went in his place one day, and he asked me to do a few bits because he was in work, and I was like, happily do it for you, yeah, no problem. And that's kind of how it happened. So maybe there was an element of luck involved in it as well, but like I was like, oh, I'd be delighted to do it or whatever, you know.
The balls to do it as well.
Yeah, well, like I'm regularly kind of meeting big names, so I'm not getting as nervous as I used to be, because there's an element of you get kind of used to it. Like, I've done interviews with Gary Neville and Rio Ferdinand and all in the past, but some of them you can make your own look. Like that Gary Neville one, I made my own look that day. That was actually a really good week because Ireland played Switzerland that week, and my mate came over from Canada, and he hadn't planned it. And he just goes, "Oh, I'm in town on Sunday or whatever." I was like, "Mate, I have a really busy week, but you can come and stay at our house, no problem. Come on, don't pay for a hotel, stay with us. Like, my ma be there and my nephew, and it'll be grand." So he came, or I was actually at the press conference, and I was coming back, and one of the people in the car, so I got a lift back from Abbottstown into town, or can't really remember. Yeah. But I was coming back anyway, I think it was to town. And they were talking about, Gary Neville's going to be in the Marker Hotel. I was like, how do I get, because I was getting media access at this point. Yeah. So I was like, how do I go about, getting that? You have to email this PR company. Bang. Did the email. Yeah, you can go in. Grand. Happy days. And it's funny because actually the Swiss team were in the hotel, and I was standing there with a camera, and I had my Irish Football Fan TV jacket with the logo, and they thought it was like spying on the team. But I was waiting to go up to the rooftop to do the interview with Neville, and then we obviously I got the interview with Neville, and I was dying that night because me and my mate went out because we went to the Dicey's or whatever. So I was trying to show him a bit of Ireland as well, So it was probably a good thing I was hungover because the interview went swimmingly. Got a great picture with him, which always gets good mileage of it, you know what I mean? And he was sound. The interview done really well. And then we played Switzerland, and my mate got a ticket to that game, and McGoldrick scored the equaliser in that game. And he was in the heart of it with the Irish fans behind the goal. You know, where they bang the drum. So he got to witness like a proper, and I don't even think he knew who Gary Neville was, but Gary Neville was really big 2019, really big. I know he's big now, but he was really big and kind of the number one pundit and stuff at the time. So it was, again, you kind of relentlessness, timing, luck, all of those things. I think you make your own look by working really hard. Yeah. And I think definitely those like moments like that were...
There's no procrastination period there. It was get that email, turn the car around, in we go. Like,
just ask the question, as well. It's
exactly,
don't ask, you don't get.
It's you mentioned there obviously the boxing aspect of it, and how it can be possibly easier to get into the circles that you need to get into. Is that different within the football of even just trying to get your name to be on the list of people who can actually get in and just ask the questions and actually get that reporter status, as you might want to call it, or
Yeah, I think so people within the FAI, some are more difficult to deal with than others. A lot of good people in the FAI get a bad rap, but there's a few who've always liked to kind of not let us cross this line or jump that fence, which is annoying. But I kind of gotten over that hurdle now because I got accepted into the soccer writer, in June, which is like the elite of the of all the media within Ireland that cover football. So I'm in that now, which was almost like I've never graduated from anything, so it's almost like a graduation for me in a sense. So that was a nice kind of thing to get into that. But once you're in that, you have a union then, so you can. Yeah, like if I get refused from anything now going forward, I have that union to back me because I've worked so hard. They know that. They've seen some of the, like I've got exclusive interviews with people that other people never got. I actually got an interview with Stephen Ireland, which is mad, like because he doesn't talk to anybody. Yeah. But I got an interview with him, and then I've pretty much interviewed everyone except for probably Roy and Robbie Keane are the two that I would probably say are bucket list. You know what I mean? I haven't really done it with Evan Ferguson, which might do something down the line, but I went over to Amsterdam a few months back and did stuff with Troy, but I reached out to these players directly rather than going through the FAI. So we just get her match accreditation stuff, and then sometimes you'll get like a player coming and promoting a game, like Dennis Irwin promoting United against, was it Sampdoria last year? Was it Sampdoria? Some game anyway last year. Yeah. So I got to do something with him.
Was the Troy one surreal? Did you find sitting down with Troy, it was like sitting down with somebody who has the potential to be something amazing?
That was one I had in the pipeline for ages. Yeah. And he rejected me initially, not in a bad way. He's just like, I don't want to do any interviews or whatever. And then in like January or February, he just texted me out of the blue randomly on WhatsApp. And he just goes, "Hi, Paul, I know I asked you to do it. I turned you down for an interview before, but if you want to do one, let's set one up." And I was like, and he's flying it out, man. I'm like, right, grand, where do I go? What do I do? What do I need to do? Bang, Amsterdam. Then he's living in Amsterdam, so we went over to Amsterdam on the Friday. Now he's a bit lastminute.com with everything, so we didn't know where we were meeting him the next day or anything like that. We had a bit of a heavy one on the Friday. We were meeting him Saturday morning in a cafe beside where he lives. But no, he was brilliant, and he sorted things out, whatever. And we got to sit there and chat with him for an hour and stuff like that. And he kind of, I think he was always a little bit weary whether we were going to be, asking like mad shit or anything like that. But I think he kind of realised after that, like we became friends almost, or maybe more acquaintances in that sense. But one thing that stood out for me was the number one thing he said to me was like, the reason why I'm doing this with you is because I look at your stuff and I just see you're always positive about, the Irish players and everything like that. Whereas I look at everyone else, it's always negative. So that was so that was the kind of thing that obviously did it for him. And I have really good contacts. Like the kit man for Ireland does a lot of stuff for Macron for us, and we're obviously promoting that as well for him in that sense. So it's again just the connections made, and like all of these things kind of come about. And it was great. We got to go to see the Alkmaar game then on the Sunday. Scored. Just chatting with him. It was his birthday weekend. Got to meet his whole family. They were delighted that we were over covering him, and like obviously positively, because he's had a few hard years, So everything just worked out really well. And then they played Spurs, and I got to work at that game in London in Spurs, and they lost that game. But it's just to be able to work in a Premier League environment and go to the training and go to the press conference. I asked Postecoglou a question, and getting that through. Like, so there's one of the lads who's a commentator for Spurs TV, their actual club channel. So Rob Daly, he does Premier Sports commentary as well, but he follows Irish Football Fan TV, and then I end up following him, and I just said to him, look, what are the chances? Like, could you put a word in? Whatever, like, I'm legit. Like, it's not going to be piss take or anything like that. We cover it. So he got me in, he got me on the list, and honestly, it was night and day. The way you get treated in Ireland by some of the press officers is not nice. But when I went to Spurs, nice as anything, and you could ask questions and not be, stepping on anyone's toes or anything like that. and it was just amazing. And then obviously it was brilliant as well working at the Chelsea game, and I actually took photos at that game, and then info. I sent it on to a mate of mine who works in info, and they used my photos. So there's actually my name up, info, Paul Nealon, and there's pictures of Maresca and all the Chelsea team training, and I'll still up on info now. So I have them for life. Like, do you know what I mean? So all these memories, so all of these things that I wanted to do, I honestly feel like sometimes I don't feel like I've accomplished a lot. But then when I talk and think about these things, I'm like, actually, you know what? And especially this year was a real breakthrough year as well, because when I was over in Norway doing the moulder stuff, RTE bought footage from me off the ball, bought footage from me for these games because they didn't have anyone over there, and I was the only one over there, and then photos again. So this year's been a really, really good year.
You're putting yourselves in the right positions. Like, I mean, that's what I said. You're talking about right place, right time, but it's right decisions
at the right time.
At the right time, I think. You know what I mean? And that's why you have to be fairly proud of that.
I think. Well, do you know what? I think my first 4 or 5 years, I was just solely relentless and selfish, maybe.
Yeah.
And like, but there's so many elements to it. Like, I'm talking about building a brand, but there's the business side, but there's also trying to keep people happy. You're taking on people, they're lazy. You don't want to keep lazy people because they're not doing it. And, you know, you're giving young lads a chance to climb the media ladder, giving them experience while they're in college. Like, two of the lads that are with me now, brilliant, Tom and Steve. And then we've got Jay, who's on the photography side of things, and his work ethic is
brilliant. Yeah, seeing some of the stuff.
And it is a ladder as well. Like, I presume now when you're going forward and you're making a proposal to whatever you want to do, you have all that stuff behind you. It's like, well, I've interviewed this person, we've been to this training ground, we've worked with the Premier League. You know what I mean? Yeah. That can only be like massive.
And obviously last year we got the work.
And you've been on Insight as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, highlight. All right. But like, even last summer, I got to work with Everton. Yeah, I did an interview with Seamus Coleman. That for me, again, getting to work with the club that I support, you know, the fact that they trust me, they respect me, and they were allowing me to, you know, be involved, and now I have contacts there. Whereas if I do go over maybe and do stuff that I could potentially work with them on different bits and stuff like that.
Seamus will probably be future manager, will he?
Yeah, I think so.
Moyes has like deadly words to say about him.
Everybody.
Yeah, I love him there.
If you ever met the guy, he's just one of them people that you just go like
levitate them.
You talk about like Conor McGregor not being the person that you want your kids to be, like Seamus Coleman, so you want your kids to be like or Katie Taylor. But them two for me, and I'm just so lucky that two of them are at the kind of, well, Seamus is kind of winding down now, but he's been such a good ambassador for our country for so long. I mean, I think even opposition fans love him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's one of the good guys. Like,
the aspect between the men and the women's game in Ireland. Have you had the chance to work alongside the women's game and the progress that they're making at the minute, and obviously the World Cup as well?
Yeah, we obviously we were at the World Cup. Got sponsored by AIG for that, and did some bits for Sports Direct. But no, that was great, that World Cup. But now that it's a bit difficult now because a lot of their good players are, you know, retiring and stuff like that. So it's difficult in that sense. It's also difficult trying to get a woman reporter, because ideally I'd love someone who is a women's football fanatic or something, like basically the female version of me or something. I'd love for them to come in and do some stuff with us. But the reality is that when you're doing something like this, there's always someone trying to rob people from you. So they're trying to rob people who report, or, you know, photographers have had robbed by clubs and stuff like that. So it's just difficult when you're trying to do all of that. Because I think if we did get a girl to come in, they could be the female IFFTV voice at different things, and a great opportunity to propel yourself, to give yourself a career, I think. And again, I feel like I'm lucky in that sense, is that I can give people the opportunity to, if they're in college, they're doing work experience every week at games, they're getting the experience of being there. Like, for example, Steve got to do a game for Leeds and AC Milan the other day, and he was like, got to interview Daniel Farke, and the video got about 100,000 views on other platforms. Like, and he only just asked him, what do you think of the Irish fans? It's just the way content is now. You can say anything, and the most random thing will go viral. Not that was viral or random, but it's just I love being able to see the lads getting to do stuff as well. Because I remember when I started about how much it meant to me to be able to do that. So for him, this is his first time doing work in the Aviva and getting to see what it was like. So I just love giving back. I love being able to see the other lads getting to either meet their heroes or something like that. Like for example, I think I might have been over at the Spurs and AZ game, and there was a Guinness event, and Dennis Irwin and Andy Cole were there doing, and they got photos with them. So Steve and Tom got to go and got to meet.
It's getting their faces out there as well, isn't it? It's like,
well, I said that to them as well, yeah. So and then they got pictures with the Premier League trophy with the two of them, and I was just like, yeah, there you go, happy days. So it's nice to be able to give back like that, you know, as well.
It's a good angle as well. I think even just taking it back there to the women's game as well, because a lot of the girls that would have been coming up in the generation before them, like would have had to have, you know, done a lot of traveling around the world, like just to get bit of playing time, like the Diane Caldwells and stuff like that, which eventually then came back like to playing for United and stuff as well. Like there's good stories there within the women's game. If you can get the right girl, it's like what you mentioned there, that's coming out of that generation now. Like there is a batch of them that you can tap into. You know what I mean? If you could just get the right one.
Well, obviously we have a podcast with Olivia, who's the Ireland's record women's goal scorer. Yeah, and she's my co-host on that. It's just taking a bit of a break at the minute, just because we have to organise a few things and make a few shifts and changes and stuff like that. But we'll be back doing it soon. But like we had Denise O'Sullivan, we had Risha Littlejohn in our first two episodes, and that's because of the pull of Olivia. But you talk about someone who missed that opportunity. It was Olivia. Like imagine how well regarded she would be now if that was, you know, now.
Yeah.
And how much Ireland are missing a striker. She'd be perfect. Even the new manager, Carla Ward, referenced her on the Late Late Show going, I'd love to bring Olivia O'Toole back. Yeah. If I had, like obviously she couldn't because of her age, but I mean, if she was able to bring back one Irish player to play for, it'd be her. Yeah. And then a few of the others have been, they called her idol or the best player that she's played with. Like a lot of them players would have, like Diane probably would have said that about Olivia, maybe at Irish level or whatever, because she was just such a good goal scorer. And it was just difficult back then. Like she would have been playing with like Irish clubs, and it's just nowhere near what it's like now and the standard it's at now. Yeah, which is great. Yeah. But the way our country's run with football, it doesn't look like anything good's coming. And Ruisha was with Shamrock Rovers in the Women's National League and left because the standard was just so bad, and not just that standard, but the standards of the clubs as well. It was just it's just
going to ask you that what state is it in at the moment? Like
bad. Yeah.
I know they're it's a little bit easier to retain the better players for few more years with Brexit and stuff like that, because we used to lose them, 13, 14, but now we're obviously keeping them. Do you think it's making the league a bit better to watch? I know obviously the clubs are ran in different ways, but do you think it's better to watch the league as opposed to years ago? I remember you used to have the Desi Bakers and stuff like that, like, and the Trev Malloys and stuff. Do you think it's ever going to work its way back up to that?
I think the quality is quite good. There's obviously a bit more money now. I mean, you look at some of the players that we have in the league now, like even Mipo Odebeko for Shells at the minute. Shawnee Maguire came back for Cork. Like there's really good players in the league. It's just, don't think it's the players. If you look around at the stadiums other than Tala, give me a clean stadium that you can pick out of any of them. I couldn't find any. Like I say this a lot. Like you want to look at bringing your kids to a game, right? So I don't know. You're just the one kid.
Just the one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, say you had a young kid, right, and you're looking to get them into the League of Ireland or whatever. You go like, okay, where can I take them? That's like the toilets are clean, where you can wash your hands. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Or you can get like the stadiums look the same 20 years ago to what they are now.
The only stadium that I've noticed, because he would play in a lot of them, like, is probably the Brandywell, and that's only after getting a new stand. But I think that's why it looks so well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like the Brandywell. I was only up there for when Shells won the league last year, so it was a good reason to be there. Will Clark, and he's trying to get funding for academies and stuff like that. But it's so difficult to try and compete. And I think we've like 2 coaches, are full-time coaches in comparison to like, I think the next nation has like 12 or something like that. And we don't. So like, that's what you're competing with. And then it's like, where do you draw the line on that?
How do you get the best
But
people?
Is it crazy to see like one of the biggest, TV production companies in the UK and probably even worldwide now, like Sky Sports, like backing an already prosperous sport in Ireland of GA? They came in to back that, but not actually come in and actually try to, help the Irish football game,
I think it's because the aesthetics are ugly, number one.
Yeah.
The stadiums don't look nice on TV. The pitches can be as well. The attendances, because they are low, like if you compare it to like even lower level England and stuff like that. But that again comes into, I don't put that down to the fans. I put that down to clubs not reinvesting in their stadiums, or or whoever owns the stadiums not reinvesting in the stadium. Like Tolka in Europe, they've closed the back end stand and the front end stand, and people can't get tickets to come in, and they're losing revenue in that sense as well. So it's just, why can't you just kind of move things on and get things like, you knew this was happening? So put a bit of a rush on getting seats to fill it. You'll make your money back, and just make things look more aesthetically pleasing in like the most basic standard. But unfortunately, it's just like, we'll do it tomorrow. It's that old Irish thing of, it'll be grand, And unfortunately, it won't be grand.
Is that in like? Would that put you off watching a good game of football?
Not me, because it's not me, but I just worry about the family aspect of, like, you can only bring the family to Tala to get something clean. And
if you look back at even the likes of, you mentioned there, COVID. COVID didn't stop people watching football, and even there was no fans in the stadiums. You know what I mean? If there was a good game of football on the television, people.
I think that's where a bit of growth came in, though. I think a bit of growth for the league kind of came in. We were still going to games and reporting on games and stuff like that. I think, as I said earlier, I think we helped grow that. We will never get any recognition off the people within the League of Ireland or the FAI to say that, but the data and metrics speak for themselves on that. We definitely, when you're constantly putting something in front of a screen on social media, like eventually, I've had numerous people come up to me on numerous occasions going, like, I got into the League of Ireland because of your, kind of, not influence, but like your content.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's nice to hear, you know what I mean? But yeah, look, it's going to be a government injection of money towards football. So that's the only thing and they need to act fast on it, because like, you're just sick of hearing about how greyhound racing gets loads of money and rugby gets loads of money, the car gets loads of money, and then football gets like hardly anything. And then, like, we're on the cusp of breaking into Europe now every now and again. Imagine we had European football every year. You remember Dundalk's run in 2015, I think it was, or 16.
Yeah.
And I remember being in Canada watching that and saying, this is class, watching an Irish team in Europe, And then Rovers just gone recently, like, being able to go over and cover a game in Norway and Molde, like, it was so cool. But then people are watching it on the TV going, like, and wanting them to win or whatever, or wanting them to lose, whatever way you look at it. I always want every Irish team to win because of obviously the job I'm in.
But even the Irish teams, they're getting that. I'm getting, real time analysis and scores like through your platform in the Irish game.
Like Paul said, that's the time to strike when they're over in mould, and these big opportunities are coming up. That's time to strike. But
where are you going to get it from? Like the likes of your Instagram page, there's stories going up like during games. Like, you're getting bang, minute by minute, information coming onto your Instagram, and that's what people want now. Like, they want there and then. Like, they don't want to be seeing a report like of a game like going up onto one of the news channels like at the end of the 9 o'clock news, wherever it is. Like, this is what it is. Like, you're getting bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, it's just only moments. I wouldn't say minute by minute, because we wouldn't be able to watch the game. But we used to do that. It was a nightmare. But No, it's just like if it's a goal now or you know, I know what you're
moments,
saying.
yeah.
But even the interviews with the lads on the ground actually playing the matches and stuff like Shawnee and a couple of the other fellas, like it's grown that awareness, like
I think those fuck off, like that's kind of an idea that I had for ages, and I was like, I really, really think that this could be a really good series, and the reaction it's got, like even off the players. I listened to one of Shawnee the other day, like, and he was playing with Gyökeres, you know, and like it's mad, like, and he's in our league, like what a player, he's back in the league, like, you know, and like only for you, like probably no one would even know, like, you know what I mean. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's just trying to put these players kind of out there as well, so that when they are going down the street, that the average football fan knows that, oh, he's, you know, Meatball who plays for Shelburne, he's scored in Europe the other night, you know what I mean? Just trying to used to play for United City and West Ham. Get a bit of passion into it, like. Yeah, well, that's not no one would know. Like, I know he could probably walk down the street and no one would have known. Well, that's it, because we've been trying to push that for a while now. Like, we have a couple of more good ones coming up as well. And then, like, once we can put a couple of them out, and then all of a sudden the players collaborating with them, get a bit traction. Then all of a sudden it's cool. It's a team. Yeah. Because footballers are weird in that sense. Like, if they see one person collaborate, then they'll all collaborate on them. But if they don't see, then they won't. They're real weird about their image. They don't want to be the first one. Yeah. Well, Sean, he was kind of like agreed beforehand. You know, you do this, and we won't pick it, and that's a bit mad or anything like that. Yeah. But they haven't even finished putting out the clips on that because obviously I was away. But I'm just looking forward to that, and that flew up pretty quick, like the views on that and stuff like that. So, and to be honest with you, when I first started the channel, he was flying at Cork, and he just got kind of taken over from Preston, and I couldn't get him for love nor money at the time to try and get him to do something. So I just got him at a perfect time. Obviously, came back to Cork, and all things just really worked out. So it was really good.
Seems to be something that's working in your favour is timing. It's be getting the right things at the right time, and you think about growth, like, and where the platform can go. Like, is sponsorship your biggest barrier now for growth? Do you think? Like, do you think that's the next thing you need to focus on? Is trying to get a bit more backing?
Yeah, well, I just don't understand why it's so difficult over here. I feel like if I was in England or somewhere like that, I'd have one. No, I would have had one years ago, but for some reason, everything's backwards in Ireland. Like,
you say the same thing, don't you?
Like, you see some platforms, I don't know how much money they're making or anything like that. It's their own business, and I don't need to know that. But I'm just looking, going, like, people with like a quarter of the following we have, like, getting opportunities, and we're just like, do we say something about you? Do we do something about you? We're quite positive about everything that we say in our content and everything like that. And then you're going to brands or whatever, and you send them over stuff, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'd love to talk about doing something." And then you send them over something, and then they say, "Oh yeah, well, we don't really have the budget right now." So, well, why did you get me to send over the things? So you get a lot of that. And look, I've been speaking to a lot of people lately. It's all timing, luck, and whatever else. I mean, we've got some good stuff coming up now, like obviously the World Cup qualifiers. We've more foot goals, but I can't keep doing them because they're very, very expensive to put together and edit because it's high end, video quality footage. I mean, it's, in my opinion, again, it's only my opinion, but I don't see anyone else doing anything like that in the area that we're doing. I think we're the best at what we do. And I don't say that to be arrogant or anything like that. I'm just confident of our content, and I don't say it in an arrogant way. I just
back yourself.
I feel like we, and I pride myself in it. Like, our content's really clear, crisp, slick, sounds always really good. And then obviously, when you have a camera crew coming along and doing it, like the fuck off, it's a different element. It's a kind of different sort of series, but people really like it. And I'm getting all the comments going on, what a clever concept and all that sort of stuff. It's something I had in my head for a long time to do. And I just think, and then obviously when we do our own podcast or whatever, and we're talking about different things, people love that on the Sunday, love them for the Irish Abroad. We've loads of different stuff that could be tailored to anybody, any brand or anything like that. But it's supposed, sometimes it's just getting in front of the right person. Sometimes you're dealing with Jimmy, who's on the computer down the back, who doesn't give a shit and won't send your message on to the right person or give you the right.
Would,
So it's ever think about maybe pushing it through some sort of, maybe like a charity match or something like that, maybe back it yourselves, you know what I mean, and then get a bit of sponsorship on board, a bit of traction to a charity game, you know.
Yeah, I'd be open to it. It's just there's so many of them going at the moment. It's almost like that thing when you know, during COVID when everyone was doing a podcast. So I think it's kind of
just another one. Like,
I don't want to just be again, because if I do something, I want to be the best at it.
Yeah.
So, but I don't want to be a competitive charity game. You know, I'm going to have a better charity game. I don't want it to be like that.
Yeah.
So I suppose I never really thought about, but I would be like that. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I've had a mentality switch over the last 3 or 4 years where I'm just, as I said earlier, like I've always been told I was never good enough at anything or anything like that. Now I've found something that I'm really good at. And some people might go, oh, look at him, always, you know, shouting about himself again or whatever. It's like, no, I do this because I've been told by so many people for so long that I was never good enough. So now I'm going to show you something I am good at, and I am going to flaunt it out there or whatever. But
and the evidence is there.
Well, yes, so that's it. You know what I mean? So,
is there a lot to be said for sitting and waiting though as well at the same time? Like you can still be proactive and still be growing and still be working hard in the background, but yet not jumping, like you said, on something just for the sake of it, just to have the name out there. It has to be the right thing like you said many times, at the right time.
Yeah, but I've turned down different things in the past. You want something that aligns with like your values or aligns with, you know, something that you're doing or whatever, you know what I mean? Like it could be easy to take like gambling money or whatever, you know what I mean? I probably would take it if it came to me. People would say, oh, you took gambling money. I was like, well, gambling money, do you want your free content? Because you're the one that gets free content. It costs me money to make it. You know what I mean? So like, do you want it or you don't? We don't charge you for it. Other people charge you. And we don't. We give exclusive interviews. We even give it to people on audio. It costs us money. You know what I mean? When the money's not coming in. So it's just, but like, look, the way I look at it is it's opened so many doors. Like even last week I was doing work for Sport Bible, doing an interview with Mick Conlon. Do you know what I mean? So it's opened doors from doing it. Like, so there is an element of, it's not all been bad. You know what I mean? And that was paid work as well. And then they want to continue doing work with us as well, separately to that. We have a good relationship with them. They're obviously a good kind of network to be in with.
Yeah.
So again, like and like that within the media and within the journalists and stuff like that, like we're respected as well. That's why we got nominated to be, you know, proposed into the soccer writers. So like, I've been very clever. Well, I wouldn't say, maybe I would say I've been very clever, but I don't go around causing issues. Like we're quite positive about what we do. Now, if we have an issue with someone, I'll let someone know at the same time. But I don't really like to have any problems or anything like that. I've always been very respectful with embargoes for any interviews that need to go out or whatever for the papers. Like, okay, we'll wait, no problem. Don't have any issues. So, and I sometimes even play football with the journalists on a Thursday, like Dan McDonald. Dan's a great guy. He works for the Irish Independent. You've probably heard of him, but he's a really good guy. So I play football with him from time to time, and John Fallon. There's a few good people who've been very good to me over the years, and I won't forget that as well. So I do always try to do stuff for them if I can, or if they, like, for example, Solskjaer was asked about the job last week, and Tom actually is a United fan, so he got to go to that and be part of that. That again flew in terms of views and everything like that. But John was the one who asked the question, and he messaged me going ahem, and I was like, what? Because I didn't know. I was in a bar in Turkey watching Pats against Besiktas. Yeah. And I was like, what's ahem? Because he obviously asked the questions, you know?
Yeah.
So I said, I couldn't even hear it. I just saw the captions. I didn't hear who said it, or his voice, because I'm in a loud sports bar or whatever. And he was like, I'm only messing. But I sent him the video, and then he was able to post the video out. But again, we were the only ones there videoing that. And again, we were the ones that got it out there. Do you know what I mean? So we're very good like that in terms of getting stuff out kind of first. And it's mad when you're at, because obviously I'm going to those things, those press conferences, all those things as an amateur and like someone who's never done it, right? And now all of them will come up to me going, how do you do this? How do you do that? I use alone your tripod. If you spare a tripod, you know, I help people who are good to me.
Playing the game, isn't it? Yeah.
But if but they've been good to me since day one. There's been a few that have been a bit iffy, but like no real issues. Like wouldn't say hello to you sort of thing at the start, and then you kind of earn your stripes. And no, they do. They all say hello. Like I have to say, I'm lucky that like I've the trust of the players, I've friendship with the media, and then I have the access,
links,
you know. So it's like I've managed to work that kind of circle well. You know what I mean? So I'm happy. I'm happy about that. Yeah.
Just taking it back, obviously, just if you don't mind, just going a little bit deeper just into the ADHD, because everything that stemmed from your school days, the struggles academically, but sort of cooking that up and putting it into a hyper focus of IFFTV, is it something that you think you could speak about a bit more for anybody else who might be struggling right now, not just as a teenager who might be getting diagnosed, or, you know, somebody coming into their early adulthood, that getting that diagnosis has been a really good thing for you, and it could be possibly a really good thing for somebody else, just to learn about themselves and actually be able to maybe develop a day-to-day plan for themselves to be able to be the best that they can be.
Yeah, well, I think the first thing for me was I learned to just not be so hard on myself, going, right, you have this thing, it's not like you're lazy, but I've been branded lazy by loads of different people. And it really annoys me, especially people who don't understand the kind of, I wouldn't say the symptoms, but the traits, where you're, you know, branded. Like I could have a pile of clothes on the floor there or whatever, but to me, like I know what's in that pile of clothes, and they will be clean. But I just, for some reason, it takes all my will, and it could take me 3 weeks to do something that takes probably 30 seconds, but I just won't do it. And then I just like, you just feel like, just don't be so hard on yourself. And I've learned that then. And again, like for me, obviously, I'm able to take days off if I'm not feeling good, or, you know, I actually haven't had too many bad days since I got the diagnosis. I kind of approach every day with a kind of, right, let's see what today has in store for us kind of attitude. Now, obviously, you have anger moments or whatever, but there's been times before that where I must have been burnt out or whatever. I was like, I just feel like shit. There's nothing I can do here. And that was probably burnout and depression and all of that. So I've definitely had that in the past, but since I've had the diagnosis, and I haven't been on medication or anything like that, but I've just found ways to, I suppose, combat it. And like, if there's days where I'm like, I'm knackered today, I don't care what I have to do, I'm going to do it later or tomorrow, or I know that I'll get up first thing tomorrow, I'll be fresh, and I'll start again. And I know that once I get up and I'll do one or two things that I said I was going to do, and then you start feeling good because I'm like, the dopamine hits and you're like, right, I did 1, 2, 3 things. Yeah. And I'm like, right, I'm on the right track for the day then. Do you know what I mean? Whereas some days I'll be like, oh, I have to finish editing that video. I was like, you know, the foot golf or something, right? And I keep on putting it off. And then I go, right, I'm going to do it today. I bang all distractions away. Phone goes over there. Just eliminate the distractions. But I suppose for people who are finding out, because I wish I had known younger when I was like 17, 18 or whatever. I went through my whole life. Probably my I don't know, if I lived to 70, it'd be a halfway point in my life, you know what I mean? Yeah. If I'm lucky enough, it would. But yeah, when I think about it, I'm just like I hope people get diagnosed earlier. I really think like the skill system isn't really set up for people with ADHD. It's really difficult for people like us because, again, you're branded like stupid and lazy and all of these types of things. Like when I look at it, I got brought back to my school a year and a half ago to speak to students about what I do, whereas I was in a school where they told me I was an idiot for the whole time I was there, the whole 6 years I was there. And then I get brought back in. The fellow's an idiot to come in and educate students on social media work and content creation and all, which was a proud moment for me. But I think if people who are getting diagnosed or you know, they're struggling or whatever, I'd say go and get diagnosed, or, you know, just to see if you have it. The likelihood is if you think you have it, you probably have it more than not. But I'm not a psychologist, so I can't officially say it to you. But finding those little coping mechanisms and stuff like that, like not being so full on, not being so, if you do get up, if you're up late till 3 a.m., just accept it. Just go, I have to get up at 8. You still get your 5 hours sleep, and later in that day, go to bed earlier or something like that. Like, try and find little ways and not be so hard on yourself. If you're tired, you're tired. Don't let other people influence you now, or tell you can't do this or tell you can't do that. Like obviously I'm like that now, but I know growing up, like, I'd be a people pleaser and trying to keep everybody happy and all that sort of stuff. I think when you get the diagnosis and you have to kind of, I suppose, look at yourself and kind of think back to when you were a kid and all these sort of things and what you were good at, what you were bad at. Ultimately, just find what works for you and then try to implement it in different ways of your day to day and stuff like that. People probably call me lazy because I still have the house dirty, but I'm doing 100 different things. And again, my work is different to a lot of other people's. Like, again, I could be doing 20 different things. I'm sending emails to organize sponsorships. I'm making graphics for news for players. I'm doing videos. I'm then editing the videos. I'm, managing the staff that I have to go, who's going to this game, who's going where, managing that. Then, I could be going for a coffee to meet someone to get advice about getting sponsorship. Like, all of these things be happening in a day. And people don't see that and just oh, well, your house is a mess, your apartment's a mess. I'm like, that's the least of me worries. Yeah. That's the least of me. So I couldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And that diagnosis is probably it's well, I know it is now, and you probably understand it now. It's for everyone else around you as well. So I know Stephen obviously been through a couple of things and getting diagnosis for one or two of the kids, and not understanding what the crack was. Like you mentioned your father and mother and stuff like that. Like, if they had known as well,
I think my mum had it.
Your mum, yeah,
I think
that's probably why she understood you.
But I think
your words,
I think now after her passing and me going through it all, I think because it's hereditary, passed down by a parent, generally speaking.
You're close to your mother.
Yeah, no, but I would have lived with her. You know what I mean? So it was, she passed one day. She just dropped in the bathroom, and I was walking around the house. Literally, I had a bang, and the dog jumped up on my bed. And I was like, what's going on? I thought I heard my mum calling my name. And then I shouted her name. Normally she'd go back, Ma'am, what?
What? Yeah.
Nothing. I knew something was just weird. You just get that sense, you know. Again, you'd probably relate from ADHD. And this could be probably something like keeping calm in a crisis probably kind of comes into it. But then I opened the bathroom door, and it was like a struggle to open the door. So she was kind of laid with her feet at the door or whatever, but she was still alive because I could hear her kind of shrieking. Yeah. So I was panicking. Then she looked like she fell getting out of the shower or something like that, or fell just after having a shower, because she still had a towel on her and stuff like that. So I sat her up against the sink, and then she was breathing or whatever. And then I rang the ambulance. I was like, what do I do here? Yeah. And anyway, the ambulance guy he was quite aggressive actually on the phone. I didn't really enjoy speaking with him. But anyway, I managed to get her back conscious, and then the fire brigade and the ambulance came. But I remember it just being such a shock. I remember bursting out into tears at the time and just being like, what the fuck's just happened? You know what I mean? And then the fireman came in and he was like, it's going to be okay. Like she stood up herself with us when we got her to stand up this is on the stairs. And then she was coughing out bile or something like that out of her mouth. It was just all one big massive kind of blur. Yeah. Anyway, the fire brigade came. Then we went into the ambulance, and then she didn't seem to know who I was or anything like that. This is a aneurysm she had, and then so she was sitting up and she was talking and stuff like that. And then I remember at one stage, a lot of the problem we had was leading up to the day that she did drop. She was in her bed a few times, and she couldn't. She wanted to be in darkness because the light was hurting or something to do with
Right.
her brain. But we tried to send her to the GP, but the GP, like, I lay a lot of the blame on the GP because he basically just dismissed her. And I remember saying to me, like, I don't want to go up to him because he's just going to dismiss me. And that's exactly what he did. But anyway, this is like the last basically time I spoke to her. I was just in the ambulance and she didn't know who I was. And I was sitting beside so the ambulance would have been where you are, Stephen.
Yeah.
And she was talking to him or whatever on the bed or whatever. And I was just saying, I had a bit of a shock there because I lost my dad suddenly with a heart attack.
Yeah.
And I was 20 at that stage, and then he was just kind of like, all right, whatever. And then I remember kind of being like that to the light because the light was hurting her eyes. And then this is at like 9 a.m. or something on the Monday.
Right.
And I'd been at the Ireland and France press conference. Mbappe said something about like Ferguson and ended up getting like 2 million hits or whatever. I just remember my phone was blowing up at the same time as all of this was happening. And then she got out of the ambulance or whatever, and that was like literally the last time I saw her. And then she had another brain bleed inside the James's, and then had to be brought out to Beaumont. And she was in a coma then for 3 weeks, and that was just hell on earth going out there every week praying that she would wake up, but she would have been like a vegetable had we have kept her, alive. She would have had no way of life. So it was just and obviously I lived with her and I was with her every day, and she was only kind of starting to kind of get over my dad's death, and she was like, she had my nephew, my sister's little boy, and he was always in the house or whatever, so she'd be doing stuff with him and
another lease of life.
And then she started her own floristry thing as well, which she was doing really well at. And I think the day before, on the Sunday night, she was asking me to help her put together an invoice so she could charge, because she was basically being asked to lead a class. So she was like, again, told her whole life that she wasn't good at all of these things, and then she was about to lead a class. And then I remember found the invoice then on the Monday when I came back from the hospital. But I kind of knew, same way I did with my dad when he dropped. I just knew that there wasn't any way back. And yeah, it was extremely difficult losing her. Like, I still don't think it's probably processed from.
Yeah.
It was like rock bottom, because I think the two biggest fears in your life are losing your mom and dad if you don't have kids or anything, So, and I realised them both at 32. So that was it was extremely difficult, and
traumatic. Yeah.
I'd be talking to her every day. You know what I mean? And then family members didn't make things very easy. Then after that, and house getting sold and having nowhere to go and housing crises and all this sort of stuff, and not knowing if I could keep my dog. And even though I was in the midst of grieving my mother, and within 9 months the house was up for sale, or past probation and up for sale, and and then I kind of found out who my friends are, and I realised I didn't really have too many. I had about 10, to be honest. So that was it's been a horrible kind of 2 years, but I think that's built the resilience I have now to kind of just keep going. Me and my brother weren't really that close over the years, but we are now. Yeah. And he kind of backed me, especially in the last couple of years. I'll always be grateful that he's kind of been there for me as well. And I had another issue then with another family member, which would have been my dad's oldest brother, who assaulted me, and he was I defended myself basically on my own doorstep, and my mum would have been there, and she had to give him a statement and all about this, but he was basically trying to get me done for GBH and trying to ruin my career for no reason, because I asked him, did he want to carry his own brother's coffin at his funeral, because I was asked to do it for my dad. Okay. And I asked him to do it, and then so I had all of that going on at the same time in that period while I'm still trying to grow all of this, and a lot of people don't know that. So it's like I don't think anyone can say to me like about my mental toughness, having all that. But I did have good people around me at the time that helped me get through it. Like
family, isn't it? Irish families are nuts.
Yeah, well, like it's a shame because I get on so well with my aunties. Like my auntie Brenda, she texts me every single day, every single morning.
It seems to be that with Irish families, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Love hate, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess you two together, we'll try to end on a bit of a light, hard, quick fire session, just to finish things off.
Just to pick your brain.
Yeah, we threw a few questions in here at the end. Just favorite current Irish player.
I can't say Seamus because he's kind of going out, isn't he? Really. I would go with Troy.
Troy.
Yeah, Troy Parrott. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a little bit of bias there, being over kind of overseeing him and stuff like that. But
Brought you
it's
to
the highest
Amsterdam Cafe. So.
yeah, exactly. But he's been the highest kind of performing player in terms of his status, and he's flying again. No pun intended.
Good to see you. Most overrated Irish footballer of all time.
Overrated? Wow. I don't think that we overrate players here that much. I think we underrate.
Go for underrated.
Underrated.
I was enjoying the overrated one there. That was a tough one.
I just read it wrong.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Underrated. This is difficult. Underrated. Nathan Collins. I think Nathan Collins is underrated. Overrated. I'll just go with it because you asked it.
Came up with that great question.
You did, and I'm sure this is supposed to be quick for Stephen Ireland.
Yeah. I go with that, yeah.
Just because he never really played for us as well.
Yeah.
Too many funerals to go to.
I hope he doesn't see this now.
Favourite Ireland goal?
Probably the Robbie Keane against Germany because we wheeled out the TVs in school and we were watching it in school. So that was great to be with your friends and stuff like that. But as far as had a match, probably the McAteer goal. I like the one I like recently was Michael Obafemi's goal against Scotland. The rocket.
Dream guest that you'd like to interview.
Right.
I'm gonna say past or present, but yeah.
Roy. It has to be Roy. I'd be probably terrified, but I think it would be good.
I think Roy tunes in most weeks anyway, so he'd probably hear it.
A lot of people would love Roy Keane as a guest.
Yeah.
So I appreciate I may never get him. But I've had Neville.
Stranger things have happened.
I've had Rio. And a friend of mine is good friends with Carragher, and he obviously works with him on the overlap. So you never know. Maybe one day or maybe sometime I could get a bit of time with him at some stage, or maybe through the Sport Bible channels or something.
We'll see him at a Cork City game.
Yeah, he wouldn't. He'd probably just tell me to feck off if it was that sort of
give you that look or non-look.
It's my job, Roy.
Yeah. Well, no, like Roy's, he's box office. I actually met him when I was down in I was down doing work with DIY SOS down in Cork in Blackpool, and I went into the Costa there, and he was standing there with a couple of his mates, and I was there with my boss. And do you know Dear McGavin, the presenter? He was with us as well, and she went over, the boss, and was like, "Oh, would you like to come up to the show? Or we'd love to have you." And he was like, "Oh, I'll see," but he didn't want to go up because he didn't want to be like the centre of attention to take it away. He did actually go to the family a few weeks after it. And visited them. They're friends of mine as well. But she introduced me to him in the Costa and started saying, "Oh, this is Paul. He's a huge football fan." I went as red as that. Being like, "Oh, why did you have to embarrass me like that?" Now he loves that sort of stuff, so he obviously knew I was embarrassed. So he started giving me a little bit of, you're in trouble now or something, he said. And it was around the time where it was the week where Everton played Palace and Calvert-Lewin scored the goal to keep Everton up in that 3-2 game. And it was leading up to that, and he was asking me. I was saying, "Oh, yeah, I know you were talking to Baz from Toffee TV, who I'm friends with." Blah blah blah. He goes, "Oh, I'd say he's worried this week or whatever with Palace." Because I think he'll stay up or whatever. And that was, I shook hands with him and left. Didn't ask for a picture, but it was just a nice moment and memory to have with him. And I think he appreciates
that type of thing. Yeah.
He was there with his mates as well. So, he was talking to me. It wasn't like me going, I was embarrassed, but I think he liked the fact that I was embarrassed.
The humility of it all,
because it was like, this is I met him a few times. I was like, this is literally the best player I've ever seen play for Ireland. Yeah. Which he is.
Class,
I look forward to your interview with him.
It'll be probably like a 10-second thing. Hi, Roy. Go away.
Go away.
Yeah. What's the hardest question of the lot?
Our Spotify playlist If you had to choose a song to put on it, what would it be?
Yeah, I was thinking this earlier. Since the week that's in it, I'm going to go Oasis and I'm going to go Half the World Away. This is a song that reminds me of my dad. And I don't know if you ever watched The Royal Family with Jim Royal. So that was obviously the theme tune to that. And I used to watch that with my dad a bit when we was growing up. So yeah, I should go with that one.
Lovely.
Nice.
Great
Going to
song.
the
as
gig?
well.
I am, yeah, going on Saturday. So excited for it now. I've been an Oasis fan, Jesus, long time. So they're on me. I have This Is Oasis playing nearly every single day in my car or on my Spotify.
Yeah.
So I was at Liam Gallagher last year and then 3 years ago as well on my birthday when he played in Kilmainham. So Tree Reid in Kilmainham. So I was at them too. So now that they're together and all my mates are gone and it's just going to be a great historic night.
Rolling back the years.
Yeah, I just can't wait. Are you going?
No, couldn't get the ticket. Couldn't get it.
I was just lucky because I was on a holiday last year and one of my mates got it for me.
Yeah.
And he's just always, he knows how to get tickets. He's
I have
just,
the patience for, when you get into the queue and
I was on a bus going down to that town and I was going out of Wi-Fi channel, so you had a better chance than me.
You're never going to get it, yeah.
I was never known.
I was probably editing the clip of the podcast or something and I had to choose what was more important.
She went off it as well. The timer restarted, didn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So look, enjoy the gig. It's been an absolute pleasure having you in and we look forward to seeing where the platform takes you and hopefully, we get you back in at some stage down the line and you'll have had the interview with Roy maybe at that stage,
You can tell us all about it.
Please God. No, listen, thanks for having me and you're doing great stuff as well. So you keep up the good work and who knows where we'll be in 3 or 4 years time. And yeah, anytime you want me to come in, just give me a shout, no problem.
Appreciate it, Paul. Thanks a million.
No, thank you.
Legend. Right, that's it. Season 7, episode 7 in the can. What an episode.
Yeah, had a great one. We had a bit of sparking and a bit of football. What more do we want? So big thanks to Paul and Eoghan for jumping on this one.
Yeah, big shout out to our sponsor as well, Robus Lighting, the world's leading LED lighting company, for their continued support.
Yeah, and a big thank you to Snickers Workwear Ireland and Velocity Pro Gear for their continued support also.
Yeah, and like I always say, if you liked what you heard, make sure you head over to wherever you get your podcast. Give us a follow to be notified when the next one drops. Take it easy.
Talk to you next week.